Hello and welcome back to LCK Challenger League live at the WDG Esports studio. I am Vladas, with me is Walp, and we are getting into the first best of 5 of the wonderful 2023 summer playoffs here for Challenger League.
And what a wonderful playoffs they should be, as it will be you and I covering the first series today, and then we will have Atlas and Chronicler coming in later today, so you guys have a special treat today to have both caster duos on the same day. It's like never happened before in the history of Korean esports.
Ever.
Like I'm like thinking I was kind of joking. I was thinking about has it ever happened that duos are swapped in the middle of a day? We don't do that here really. We don't do that so much. So anyway, it's gonna be fun, and we do have some clear favorites in our series today, but it's challengers, so there's an opportunity for upsets. We do have, of course, the first round today as well, so it will not be double elimination. If you lose today, you're out. See you in 2024. Hopefully, in 2024.
Yeah, it's Challenger League. You never know where these players are going to go. Will they go up to the LCK? Will they stay in Challenger League? Or
ERLs.
Will they go to the ERLs? Are they going to the NLC? Are they going to CBLOL? I was playing some games last night, just hanging out, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool at my house. And I was watching some CBLOL. Yeah. And I saw Lava. And Lava was great.
He could come back one day.
Maybe. It's good to see he's, doing something over there. One of our former players. A former Giga Chad himself.
Last season we had, in our first round of playoffs, that really crazy T1 upset where they prepared the Scion on red side to come down and steal the jungle away at level 1 and just drop waves. Challengers teams generally kind of do their own thing no matter what, but I'm hoping we see something today, at least. Maybe we'll see it later on in the tournament, but hopefully today of teams doing something unusual and different that we didn't see in the previous week of the same patch, because they were hiding it for playoffs, best of 5s, tournament life on the line. But only time will tell, as these are our final standings for regular season.
Yeah, you can see that, bro, the Giga Chads that they are, they say, well, we'll get in there next time. We need to give everybody else a chance, and 6 other teams did make it. Today it is going to be 3rd versus 6th, and then 4th versus 5th, as it is in the LCK. Same format, so if you've watched the LCK for any time at all, you'll be comfortable with what we're doing here, at least for 2023.
Yeah, and Hanwha, they chose Gen.G. You see that, and the remaining opponent for DRX will be KT Rolster. So I think we can all kind of universally agree KT on paper the stronger team between KT and Gen.G here in Challengers. The winners will move into the second round and we'll be playing a week from today. So going to be a significant break between today's matches and next week's matches. That's why we don't have a Tuesday broadcast, and part of why, of course, Atlas and Chronicle will be joining us today. And D plus Kia, because they secured first place in the regular season, will have their choice of opponent.
That is absolutely right. And, it says 6 p.m. KST. Could go a little bit longer if we do go to 5 games. We're starting at 2, so given that, a game takes a certain amount of time, then you have close-up and some break time, it's about an hour per game and might overflow, so might not want to time it exactly. Although I do believe if we get a 3-0, we will almost definitely start at exactly that time, just to make it easy on the teams, so they know exactly when to come in and be ready to play.
That's right, as well as the live audience that will be coming to show up at that start time as well. So that's the expectation. Notice that we will be doing our normal 5 p.m. start time on the round 2 match, and that's not normal for Mondays, but it is normal for Tuesdays, so just kind of keep it in mind, as Tuesday will be the stock standard starting time. And right now, it looks like we'll probably see in round 2 D+ versus Hanwha, and then DRX versus Nongshim. Even though Hanwha ends up getting the higher seed, most people right now in Korea are saying that DRX is the stronger team. Take a look at the path to playoffs here. It was a very tumultuous one for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, you'll notice that Hub Life Esports went as far down as 9th, but that was second half of week 2, actually. So you know, or week 1 rather. So they have bounced back in a big way. Also, KT Rolster starting off pretty well, but did eventually end up in 5th.
Yeah, KT definitely not finishing as strong as they did in spring, and I know everyone wants to read a ton into that win over Live Sandbox yesterday, but I would definitely advise against it, as it was Live Sandbox who didn't prepare for that team at all whatsoever, and seemed a little bit out of their element, even in the first game against the regular KT Rolster squad. And looking at DRX here, they finished in 4th. I think they're definitely one of the big dark horses of this playoffs. Again, like I mentioned, a lot of Koreans right now actually saying they're probably the 2nd strongest team, even though Nongshim and Hanwha Life did end up finishing higher than them. It is going to be about form on the day, and Hanwha Life, to me, I would actually predict them to be the biggest ones to challenge D+. And with D+'s current form, yeah, they stayed in 1st place the entire season, but at the end, it was a little bit shaky. Maybe it's not them who take the title, it's DuckDom who's going to get round 2 MVP.
Yeah, and you'll note that the vote rate this time was 41%. For Lucid, I believe it was something like 93% in round 1. And that's obviously on the backs of D+ going on a big streak. I actually voted for Thanatos this time around. I felt like, you know, it should be a player on the side of D+, and I thought that Thanatos was a bit more consistent.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird that DuckDom ends up... I mean, I think there's nothing against DuckDom's performances, but only picked up 1 POG in the entire round, and, you know, looked very good, but overall, I feel like didn't have the insane impact that you would garner an MVP, and I think Thanatos became the easier vote for me when I thought about what he did for his team even throughout D+'s struggles. But if this is any indication, maybe Pays will get MVP at LCK as well.
Yeah. Well,
I'm being a bit facetious, but
yeah.
It wouldn't shock me.
Wouldn't shock me either. But yeah, congratulations to DuckDom. Picks up the win in the round 2 MVP. Who is going to be the season MVP by the end of it all? Who is going to pick up the title? That is going to be a big question for later on. But for today's matches, as we already mentioned, Hanwha Life Esports versus Gen.G. That's what Wolf and I are going to be covering. And then later on, we have DRX versus KT. That's going to be Atlas and Chronicler covering that one. Got a big day of games. I see a lot of people hoping for the 10-game Thanos today. I think I predicted 3-2 for both series just because it is challengers, and I'm like, it's challengers, baby. We're gonna have teams that are supposed to win, just not necessarily be as clean as they should be, and then, you know, the underdogs are gonna pick up some games, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I do think that there's a small chance for an upset, especially in that 2nd series, but 1st series does feel like it is going to be bit of a tough one for Gen.G just because their highs have been high, but their mean has been a bit lower. And
Gunnar Drag has collected all the Pokemon.
I love to see that. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I guess he subs to all 4 of our channels. It's the only way to make that possible. That's
cool.
pretty cool.
I like that. Mine also has a Valdez emote as well for a
That's
bonus.
True. As we mentioned, Hanwha Life Esports, Gen.G Global Academy, which is actually their challengers team, is going to be fighting here.
Here's the walkout.
Tasteless for challengers finals since he cast Riot stuff.
Whatever you say, the Raider. He's not in the country at the moment anyways, as Hanwha Life Esports is going to walk out. And this team, I think, really leveled up quite a bit throughout this season. Even with Grizzly being taken, Guwon was a player that was playing very well before Grizzly even moved into that premier spot for jungle. So those are their last few games. Overall, very strong, despite the loss to Guangdong Freaks, taking out DRX, taking out D+, playing a close series against Nongshim.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at what you said, just the spinning wolf.
Yeah,
that's a
Spin
great
Wolf.
emote.
It's great. Spin Wolf is legit.
Big fan.
Yeah, I think Hanwha definitely the favorites tonight. And Gen.G, on the other hand, like they came off of a win, if I'm not mistaken, and see if they can make that round 2. That's kind of the point of the match here, is Hanwha Life at the cool walkout. Now they're here on stage. It will not be Loki today. It is going to be Roamer. And I'm very happy to see that, to be honest with you, Valdez.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually just looking at my sheet, and apparently Gen.G just suffered a 0-2 loss against Bro.
Oh, okay.
After taking a game against DK. What does it mean? I think what it means is that it's challengers, baby. And you never know. You know, will Gen.G step up to the plate? Will they get some wins over Home Life Esports here as the big underdogs? I don't know. Well, I'm not sure. Because Home Life Esports themselves, they lost 0-2 to Kwangdong Freaks, who were the weakest team in challengers. So both these teams kind of coming off of a rough moment, as Home Life Esports also the team with the best hair.
True. But they have a big competitor in that with Ophelia here for Gen.G. And Gen.G are going to be walking out. This team very popular in Korea despite having they're one of the weaker teams in playoffs here. And they played in that Beatles show match that we do actually in the LCK content. And Ophelia's going full mullet here. Everybody who saw Gen.G's Challenger squad in the LoL park was like asking to take photos with them and stuff, like all of the staff. Very popular team despite not having dominant results.
Yeah. Speaking of results, they did take a couple of wins over Kwangdong Freaks and Live Sandbox, but they weren't dominant wins. You can see that this team isn't necessarily one to come out and show a lot of consistency. Their score over the entire summer season was 8-10. So very much right down the middle. It's kind of what you would expect from a 6th place team, unlike in the LCK, where you can get in 6th place with just 6 wins, apparently, if you are DRX. But yeah, Gen.G, you know, they have the tools. The question is, will they be able to utilize them tonight?
Yeah. Zest will be starting as well over Casting in the top lane. So this is not a shock, even though Casting was being played a little bit more towards the end of round 2. Zest, I think, definitely the more consistent player you can trust. And for the rest of the squad, you know, coming into a series like this, I think there is a certain amount of pressure that comes with this, but you also know you are the underdogs. And loser is eliminated from playoffs. So definitely one that you got to play well. And drafting is where it has started in a best of 5 like this for a lot of these challengers teams who have good coaching staff, who have good champion pools, like I think Gen.G really does. Maybe that's the way. As here are the team stats here. You can see it much better really across the board for Hanwha Life, with the exception of the heralds per game being about dead even.
Yeah, the Herb G, not very good there for the side of Hanwha Life Esports, but that's fine. I mean, yeah, like you said, across the board, it's just pretty favored towards the 3rd place team rather than the 6th place team. Imagine that. I
mean, it's crazy. The herald per game stat, like generally speaking, there are only 2 heralds in a game of League of Legends, unless you really ended early, which that's not a thing. So if you're like anywhere below 1, it's disastrous. If you're sitting right at 1, then that's not great. But if you can get up to like 1.2, then you're like, ooh, that's really nice. But both these teams still trading a lot of objectives. The problem is for Gen.G, they're getting slightly more heralds per game, but it's still just you generally won. But they're also not getting a ton of dragons before 15 either, so not able to control both in most of those fights. This is a unanimous prediction for Hanwha Life across the board.
It's Orange Day. I was the only one who went for 3-2. I think just my my belief in Challengers League to do Challengers League things led me to that prediction. I do think that Hanwha Life Esports are the much better team on paper, but it's playoffs, and you never know what's going to happen. The pressure's going to be on. Will Hanwha Life Esports be able to bounce back from a 0-2 loss against Kwangdong Freaks? I don't have that much belief that it'll be this clean, as the majority of you guys have said.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely an argument to be made for a closer series here, especially with priority on blue side, as it looks like we're about to jump into it right away here, this first draft. We're not wasting any time. And let's see where that priority is going to go already. No Tristana for Roamer. We can give that a thumbs up. The Xayah ban will probably force a Kai'Sa ban here from Gen.G as well. Although, not yet.
Not yet. Kaisa, a lot of the teams in the LCK also kind of letting it through in favor of banning out pocket picks and then getting a couple of OP picks yourself. Just because in this meta, it does feel like there are so many things that are really strong. So, you know, you can't ban them all. Just try to ban away the specific ones you want and then try to pick up, you know, like a Jace Maokai or something that's really strong, a Maokai Renekton we've seen a lot of times. But the Kaisa ban will come through, as the Maokai is sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, really strong right now. And if you don't take it, Gen.G go Maokai Jace every time. The Rel, flexible, strong pick here as well, very safe. And Gen.G have been really reliant on Azir. And we did also see the Zeri priority really high for KT's Challenger squad yesterday. It's very strong right now, and Challenger seems really preferring not getting choked out of their champion pool. So it'll just be Zeri Rakan here for Gen.G, leaving that Maokai completely open, the Jace as well.
Yeah, maybe Gen.G a little bit scared about Rel being flexed immediately and then a Rakan coming out, but with Xayah banned, it's pretty interesting to see the Rakan picked this early on, especially when there's still so much left available, like the Maokai and the Jace.
Yeah, there's
Who could have seen this coming, Wolf?
Push that Rel into support, probably. I mean, both of these picks are flexible, so Unlife not showing a whole lot here, and now you probably have to ban the Varus that's already pretty strong in lane into the Zeri as Gen.G. The Vi will get locked up here, which will allow Unlife to try to target, for example, the Annie and the Ahri, the A mid stun champions.
Yeah, the Aurelion Soul as well. The Anivia, another popular pick coming through. Bounded by Blood, first Challenger game I'm watching just because of yesterday's LCK game.
Oh, LCK
The
Challengers,
KT
getting people in here.
Yeah, it was an advertisement, Wolf.
There we go.
Life Esports 3 picks, 0 lanes shown, OP draft. I mean, Jace almost definitely going to go mid, but you are right. Everything can be flexed and will be flexed by multiple teams and has been in the past. Welcome to Challengers, where we talk to chat and we have fun.
We do.
In playoffs, I think we're not going to be like joking the entire time the game is going on, but you know, there's still going to be lighthearted Challenger stuff as the Ziggs.
Ziggs is gone. They left open the Varus still, so I think that's probably where Lure is going to go here. Taking a look at his win rate is Cassante. Pretty obvious when you're running the front-to-back Zeri. Let's see that win rate for Lure. It is, he hasn't played any games. No, it's not true. He's 1-0. 1-0. Oh no, Smearl.
Smearl.
So not really enjoying to play the Varus with the Vi on the other side. Ooh, Sivir, I love that here actually. That's great amount of wave clear, great amount of push. Olaf.
So Olaf, if you do get all outed, can kind of stand his ground obviously and not be pulled over walls. And he's very good at just standing there and attacking very fast. But the unfortunate thing about Olaf is that he's not very good in this meta.
Yeah, he's
just
not
pick
very strong.
Renekton. It's that's why we adhere so closely to the meta here in the LCK.
There's not a lot of range for Gen.G, which will be somewhat shored up by Aphelia's comfort pick in this Azir. So I would have liked to see it just because it's good into the Cassante, good for the team fight setup they have, great front line, but Renekton offers you so much more in lane. As the Azir, I believe he's played it like 17 times this season. Yes, this will be his 18th game.
17 times? Jeez.
He likes to play Azir. He's very reliant on it.
Is it because he's on the former team of BDD?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I think it's more likely he just likes how safe it feels to play in a meta where it's one of the best answers to Tristana and they're prioritizing other stuff. But I like the draft of Gen.G overall. Azir Vi is not a terrible duo. But the range issue is a problem. The wave clear here for Unlife also really good with Sivir, and they can push mid really easily. And even with Shiv on Carpe, it's going to be hard for him to answer a lot of what Unlife is going to be bringing to the table here in the mid to late game. I really feel like Zest and Winner have to really carry this game. They have to really show up. Cassante is a weird champion where it looks like he doesn't do a whole lot, he just stands in the front tanks, but in this meta, you gotta like flash on Jace and like hope to get that Q3 and hawk up and win the fight.
Yeah. Could happen. Vi and Rakan going to be looking to press their R buttons, and Azir potentially as well. As you mentioned, the range issue is there. Jace Maokai is so strong because you can basically always choose how you want to fight your fight, right? You lay down a Maokai ultimate, you keep them at range, you have incredible burst damage, and they've got a nice amount of stuff to go along with it. You know, a lot of hard engage with the Rel and even the Renekton to enable these two carries to go through. Bit light on the AP damage, but what do we care in this meta, Wolf?
It's okay. Guan goes Red Smite, and like you said, we don't care in this meta that much. He will probably need to do that, though, into Cassante, who will get a lot of value out of just building straight armor. So just go for a little bit of an AP build here on the Maokai. Go for that Demonic Embrace. You'll feel pretty decent with this composition here as Hanwha Life. And I think they're the stronger team.
That they are. Let's hop into the Rift for game number 1.
What did Ophelia mean by this? Have you ever looked at his ears' feet before?
I didn't know he had feet.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
wait, they both are like doing the same dance.
Kind of.
Well, they were. Not really anymore.
Well.
Oh, well. Lore's first time on Sivir. I wonder what's sparking this.
The Sivir?
Whoa.
I think.
Like, look at these players!
Who are these players?
Yeah.
Where's Piotrek? I think a lot of the bans that came through just limited follow-up for a Maokai engage. The Varus, I did like quite a bit into everything except the Azir. But now, you know, Azir can be problematic. Vi also can be really problematic for the Varus, because if he gets ulted, it's probably just donezo. He doesn't have any sort of damage mitigation, no mobility. Sivir has Spell Shield, so that can be quite helpful against dive. Plus, she just does way more damage consistently, so if you take her out, she's going to do a lot on the way out, whereas Varus usually struggles if he gets engaged on, because he needs to charge up his arrows. And Rooster, 9-1 on this pick. Very successful Renekton so far this season. Zest, on the other hand, 7-7 on the Cassante.
Yeah. Balanced like all things should be. You know, just wanting to get as many wins as losses. And we do have a winner going straight to his red buff. I wonder if he's going to get a bit active in here, but this is going to give Guan an opportunity to steal away the Roosters.
There you go. Can actually contest this because it has tons of top prio, mid prio decent here as well. As Winner wants to go in on this. Yeah. Red buff versus red buff.
I mean, I think Vi will win that in a straight up 1v1, but Guan just starts running away because Ophelia is coming over, and the junglers will go back to doing their jungle thing.
Yeah, well, Guan doesn't actually stay and cover top, does need to go clear, and Winner obviously just going to naturally do Krugs. I really like this check from Rooster. Comes over here, drops a ward, makes sure that he knows if Winner is trying to go for a level 3 gank, or if he's just going to be clearing Krugs business as usual and making his way out. So he can continue to put the pressure on top side now. And that's what Prio will afford you as the Renekton in this case. And I think why Guan wanted to have that tussle there top side. If he could pull Vi closer to the river, maybe he gets involved. Obviously, Roamer had some Prio there too. But just going to be a scuttle trade. Low action for challengers so far.
Yeah. There were some new people, and they're like, what is do-do-do? The intro song, when we were getting into the game, it had a little guitar riff. And we were like, what is that riff, rather. And early on in Challenger's infancy, we started to skip it, and we're like, no, we want the do-do-do, we want the guitar riff in our intro song. So we started doing it instead because it was getting cut off. And then eventually they added it in back, but we just kept doing it, so.
Yeah, it's like if we tried to force I Get It in Apex. You guys get that reference.
There's probably at least one person in chat that does.
Probably. As Renekton with a pretty massive lead in the top lane. Bottom side here, no problem for Lure. Actually going to catch this wave and we'll maintain that CS lead, or I guess it'll be about dead even, just one up. The early game has been pretty free for Hanwha Life here, and when it's Azir Vi, that's not going to be something you're too worried about until the Azir gets level 6, but there's some agency there. Otherwise, if Rooster just doesn't get contested, I mean, he's like a beast unchained in this game on this Renekton. Went for the Doran's Blade as well, rather than Shield in this matchup. He is ready for action.
Just doing Renekton things. Definitely like the Renekton instead of the Olaf, which was hovered.
Yeah, I mean, I like Olaf into the comp overall, but yeah, Renekton is just pretty good and does a lot more lane things.
Yeah. We can never really escape the Renekton. We did for a little bit in spring, I think. He was just not that strong, and he was a little bit nerfed, but he's back. So, welcome back, Mr. Croc. Level 6, Rooster could try to get aggressive, but Cassante under turret, probably not the best idea. Just going to take the plate and move on with this Crocodile life.
Yep, lifespan of a Crocodile, about 22 minutes.
Yeah.
On average, but we'll see if he can extend his lifespan by getting some good plate gold, and the Jace will also be very relevant later on if Roamer doesn't make any mistakes. And so far, pretty clean level 6 for Ophelia, but doesn't have an angle just yet to look for ganks or a gank assist for the Vi. As Roamer has just been respectful, he's like, oh, you have 6 now, he's going to farm under turret. And Hanwha Life can look to potentially start up this Dragon here shortly. As soon as they identify where Winner is, they see him with the sapling. And Sivir can clear this wave pretty quickly, even in the early game. And we will see who's going to take that first Dragon, because it's quite pivotal for both of these compositions to have Temple
G.
lead. Yeah, the Drap G.
It's very important. You got to get as many Drakes as early as possible to start building up your Drap G. And especially your Dra at 15 as well. That's it's pretty important, you know. Gotta make sure you have a lot of Dra at 15. So we don't have a lot of action. Kind of just sitting. Okay, well, we're just going to press our buttons in the case of the Zeri, as Duro is going to flash away, and Lure's like, oh crap, well, I'm not really in a position right now to fight against level 6 Zeri.
Yeah, and Spell Shield not going to offer you too much in that scenario against Zeri just hitting you. But level 6 here for Guon. And this is going to make this Drake secure very difficult. He actually has to drop the Drake for a minute. Winner does partially reset and get its health back. And now, are you overextended, Carpe?
Yeah, he really is. I'm not sure what was going on there. The communication not ready for Gen.G. So Guon says, thank you very much. I'll just flash and go underneath the ground advancedly onto the Zeri. And down he went, did not even flash. There was no reason to.
As soon as
he was already dead.
Yeah, as soon as the Maokai flashes and channels that, you're dead. Like, he's going to follow you on your flash no matter which way you flash. And he's just not being respectful. Guon's positioning here is actually so fantastic because he's both contesting the Drake as well as threatening Carfe here, who's trying to get that prio so they can actually hold on to the Drake. And he flashes for it here in a bit of a sneaky way, but at the same time, you just have to know this is coming, and I think probably dropping the Drake was the right call for Gen.G, or trying to force that fight like they did earlier. Like, Carfe ults and tries to make something happen, fails, you gotta lose the Drake there. If you win that, you know, maybe you're just happy to hang on to the Dragon itself, as now Gen.G are gonna try to contest this Herald, and a little bit of a lack of setup here for Hanwha Life, so it's just going to go over even with the Nature's Grasp available for Guon.
Yeah. Just the back's going to be a little bit later on the side of Hanwha Life Esports because they were taking the Dragon, while Gen.G, they used that time to walk over to Herald. So Hanwha Life Esports can respond to the Herald, and we will trade some objectives. Of course, the First Blood going over to the side of Hanwha Life Esports is going to be a big boon to them. And we do have the red pet with the Demonic Embrace Rush here first for the Maokai, so...
I like it. Chronicler doesn't, but...
but he's not casting this series.
Not today.
Here we're enjoyers.
I think it's very strong, and I also think they need magic damage in this composition against this Cassante, making it less comfortable for him to just go straight up into Thornmail and just sit back and chill. We'll need to either itemize some magic resistance, which not really. Just he actually takes damage from Maokai. Like he could magic resist to itemize if he was massively ahead and be like, now no one can hurt me, but he's just not going to have as much value out of his armor because of this. Hopefully he doesn't build MR in this game.
Hopefully.
Because he might. I mean, we have seen it before, but Rooster getting baited.
Oh, he's getting baited big time. Not Olaf. What?
8 out of 8, great bait, mate.
Wait,
but I'm just gonna
Guys?
not care.
And Winter's like, actually, you know what? Never mind.
If he pulled him into turret aggro and ulted, I think there's a real angle there. But sadly, Rooster a bit too tenacious, even without any tenacity, and doesn't even have to flash. Doesn't even care. Ult trade. Jungler being topside means that we're going to see some plates taken down here.
Was that the straw that broke the camel's back? Was that the moment that Life Esports secured their 3-0 today?
It was the moment that Rooster became Heisenberg.
He is the danger right now in this top lane. It's pretty clear. And Gen.G, I think they just figured that out because they're like, hey, we can kill this Renekton. And Rooster's like, you can't kill this Renekton.
Yeah, Renekton deceptively hard to kill.
Deceptively?
I just mean like he often deceives people into thinking he's easy to kill, but that's the deception.
Because every Renekton player plays like an absolute Giga Chad and runs at the enemy because they know that even in a 1v2 situation, they're probably going to be fine.
Yeah, Renekton, like he's okay. Well, this time he might not be fine if Winter commits the ult.
Yeah, no Dominus. This one absolutely could be the one as the knockback comes in after the R button, and finally they make a second pass at it, and this time it is successful.
Yeah, this time he can't actually slice and dice his way out of there. His chain CC'd. You gotta ult him. That's what they didn't do last time. If you ult him, then you can link those together and make sure he can't, you know, dash, flash, then dash again out of there. Not able to do so this time. So Zest should be able to take a plate here on the top side himself. So we'll watch it one more time. Renekton, he has no resource like mana. He has his Fury that he can build up, but the reason why Renekton is so strong is because he's not reliant on mana like a lot of other top laners are. He heals with his Q and heals even more against champions when they try to gank him when he has enough Fury for it. So he can basically stay in lane forever because he has good sustain, and that's why he's super strong. Survives a lot of ganks, but if you commit hard, as they did here, you're gonna get him down to 0 as Rooster didn't have ult, has it now, has flash. We'll see if he decides to show up for this next team fight here, which will be the second Drake of the game for Hanwha Life if they do commit. He has teleport, and Zest does not. Or actually, no, he doesn't have teleport, my bad.
No teleporters. Just a good old 4-on-4. Well, we'll see if Zest does get in there. Eventually, if the time is given. Mid-prio, Gen.G actually going to push that one back, but Life Esports still going to start this one up. It's not a Cloud Soul or a Chemtech Soul.
Yeah, so it could be
like, Ocean.
It could be Ocean, but it also could be like Infernal or Hextech or Mountain. As the Jace poke here starting to land.
There is a Croc in the vicinity. And the damage comes down. You see that Winter not really going to get in position to smite that, nor is he really in position to engage, as it is Hextech Soul. And already 2 going over the side of Life Esports.
Yep, that's going to be a push into mid here as well, dropping it potentially a plate. Not going to actually heavily commit even with the Shiv Sivir, as the wave wasn't there. Just going to clear that one out, look for a reset, it looks like here. And the fight was pretty elementary. Like, it wasn't really a hard commit or anything like that, just Nature's Grasp helps zone. They press the smite button and the Drake goes into their inventories. It will be Hextech Soul, we mentioned. Likelihood of a very strong soul. Well, they got the strongest one when you consider the Shiv and the Sivir here together, it's pretty busted. Gonna really help out the Jace quite a bit.
He called it. He knew. Jarskis.
He knew. Hanwha will win even if they're behind 10k gold. I don't know about that.
This is challengers, okay? This is not. This is not the cleanest place to find your clean League of Legends, but yeah, the 10k gold is a lot in professional league. Regardless, here is Gen.G going for the second Rift Herald.
Got to keep that. Herb G sitting at over 1, looking for the angle. Teleport here, pretty optimistic.
All right, the turn is really clean, but it's onto Maokai, and he doesn't even have tank items. As down he will go, the Zeri is having a little bit of fun, as the Rift Herald is going to be picked up by Karfe, who just grabs it and runs. And the turn onto the Maokai was a bit questionable, but at the same time, it's still a 1v1, or a 1-for-1, and Gen.G got the objective.
Yeah, really hard to actually follow up any further on this fight. The Jace not having enough time to actually get the damage done, to get a big Duskblade fight. And that's going to be the Herald crashing through. Will not be the turret, unfortunately. Will eventually go down as Rooster's going to grab a turret topside here, it looks like. First brick on the cards. And down it goes. So pretty huge win, 450 gold more to the Renekton, who picked up some decent plate gold earlier in the game. As watch the turn attempt here. Teleport comes through to try to come over here and look for a cutoff. The positioning of Ophelia and Karfe is fantastic. So even though this is a really awkward fight here, Lospa charms everybody so they can't follow up easily, and the carries are positioned well. Karfe's in the area where he can grab the eye, and Hanwha Life kind of awkwardly over-indexing there to the Rakan.
Draping Beef, not having a good time.
The most boring thing I've ever seen.
He's obviously never watched the grass grow, nor has he touched grass.
No, I don't think he's ever watched the Star Wars Holiday Special or...
Have you ever gone to the store with your mom and she's just looking at clothes for 3 hours? That's definitely more boring than this, I have to say.
Yeah, I was a spoiled little kid, though. Whenever my mom made me go shopping with her where she was looking at clothes, she also bought me a video game, generally. So I was like having the best time of my life reading the instruction manual, knowing that I would also be playing the game upon getting home. So and when I was young enough to have to be dragged to those, it was actually generally a good thing for me. Well, yeah, but the time before my mom told me she was going to buy the game, it was boring. Christmas shopping for the whole family, but not for me?
Oh, God.
Absolutely no. Bed Bath and Beyond
closed.
to get me out of here.
Yeah.
The candle shop? We're going to that weird place where you sit in the, like, massage chair for some reason and, like, look at, like, different, like, stress relieving balls? Like, why are we in this shop in the mall? I don't think that's what my aunt wants for Christmas, man.
We're really stretching for that unique gift this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the white elephant gift, you know, a cutting board again this year is going to be like...
Yeah, you got to be careful with those cutting boards, though. You don't want to mix them between vegetables and meat. Also, you got to make sure that if it's a low-quality one that you gave last year, then probably it's been cut through if they do any significant amount of cooking. So you just kind of want to get them a new one. So I kind of understand, you know?
Yeah.
Depends on the meta, you know?
You can also create an expectation that, oh, every year they buy me a cutting board, so I can kind of prepare for that and expect for it and not buy a new one.
Expect it.
Yeah. We're going to have a bit of a tussle over this Drake here, though. Sole point for Hanwha Life. Zest kind of zoned out right now, but he has a flash engage opportunity. He just doesn't have Q3, though, is the problem.
No, it's okay. We could have had some action there on the Cassante, but he took the Blast Cone instead. Thankfully, that's in the game. Winner in position this time, it looks like, but poke damage already coming down, and...
Sivir doing Sivir things?
Remember what you said in the draft, Wolf, about mid-control and pushing the lane, the Sivir and the Jace? Well, they're doing it. Makes sense, as this one is getting low, but Guwon is in position. He presses R button, and the smite does go the way of winner this time, actually. Let's see the fight, though, as All Out goes in, and the Zeri is having a little bit of a moment as the Magnus Storm did catch him, but that's not enough. Ophelia with a big Emperor's Divide at the last end of this fight, but unfortunately, no big follow-up as his teammates were pretty low.
Yeah, Sivir doing a lot in the end of the fight, but too late to really be very relevant, even with the quick blades set up here. Zeri having so much setup, the tanking of the Cassante was pretty significant, so allows the Emperor's Divide to be used very late here. And after the smite goes through, see the follow-up here as Rooster is not in this fight at all. Zest basically 1v4 here, and then Carpe has a massive ultimate. The turn here from Duro is, I think, what saves this to a certain extent for the side of Hanwha Life. Because if he doesn't hit that Magnet Storm, the damage doesn't come through, then they probably don't lose anybody. But still a win for Gen.G overall, I would say. They take a gold lead here again and are able to deny that soul point.
Yeah, denying the soul point, I think, is the biggest thing, right? Because you don't know what the game is going to look like in 5 minutes. It might not be in a great spot for you to be fighting over the Drake, and as long as you can get one and wait. As Bingy, first-time chatter. Now Zeri Azir just wins. So you can tell, you don't even need that little banner that says he's a first-time chatter, because obviously this guy has not watched Challenger League before.
Yeah.
He has no idea how it works.
Now just Zeri / Azir wins.
It's a little bit sushed.
First time?
It's okay. You know, you always get some new people into challengers. Now, if this were LCK, maybe, you know, you could make a maybe a little bit of a. You could take a stance, saying, okay, well, they've got the great scaling. Maybe now with the Hextech Drake, they can begin to take over this game. Keep in mind also that they are going up against a Sivir, who can do some crazy stuff and really elongate the game. So even though there is some nice scaling with the Zeri and the Azir, who knows? Maybe Lure can pop off, and maybe the burst damage from Roamer is enough.
Yeah, and we saw Lure push through and grab that turret after the Drake went over, so he's picked up quite a bit of gold. So he's got the Last Whisper already in his inventory, so once he can rip through Zest's health bars with the LDR, it becomes really interesting. You know, you kind of have to kill this Sivir, or the Sivir can turn on the Zeri and kill the Zeri. And if the Zeri is given space and you can kill the Sivir, you know, that's, I think, how you're going to win most of these team fights. So Lure's positioning is going to be quite critical, but he has an ult for mobility. He has a spell shield, which, you know, into what Gen.G is running is not the most high value, but still is going to be relevant. Let's see how this potential Baron fight is going to go as Hanwha Life are grouped much better for it at the moment, trying to clear some vision. They have that control ward in the pit, but not going to start it up. And I think when you have this much control and this much vision and a Jace, like, you absolutely can't start posturing for this. Clear those wards, let the Jace shock blast towards the enemy carries. As be proactive, Hanwha. It's playoffs.
Playoffs?
That's
You're
right.
About playoffs? Yes, yes, we are. LCK stands for literally can't kill. Also, lacking critical knowledge. Those are basically just what it is. LS, aka literally sleeping. Owning the record for the longest league game of all time. That's, well, the LCK, yes, but LS wasn't there.
No.
I mean, he was here, but he wasn't there, you know.
Yeah, I was like here, but I wasn't there.
Yeah. Same.
But we witnessed it.
Only a Cheerios was there.
A Cheerios, yeah.
Yeah.
With proper Fruit Loop, yeah.
Papa Fruit Loop.
He followed his nose wherever it went. So the downtime, you know, it's not changing up. But 20 seconds to go till this Drake, and Gen.G better positioning right now. Trying to look at vision here, and There's not a whole lot of information to the side of Hanwha Life. I think they've squandered a lot of this lull state. They haven't really been able to set up anything, top side or bottom side here. Like, look at what they can't see, which is anything. And Zest positioning perfect. Shock Blast going to hit here for luck. And here comes the ult.
Yeah, and Winter doesn't get hit by it, and they don't do anything with it, and the poke isn't hitting. As now the engage is going to come in here from the side of Gen.G, but take a look at Carpe, fantastic kiting, but unfortunately his front line is just gone, and they didn't commit to taking down the Drake at all, so they lose the fight on the engage. A triple kill goes the way of Roamer, and Hanwha Life Esports got the Dragon as well.
Yeah, well, you know, gonna say
Challengers, baby.
There you go. That's the best line to say in these types of situations. We don't always mean it in a good way, but yeah, Winner's ult a little bit questionable, and the positioning of Carpe to try to rush down the Drake means that if you are in range of getting renekted, you better be securing the Drake. Like, you better be actually set up to peel for the Zeri and rush down that Drake and secure it. They kind of didn't commit to getting the Drake, and then also Zeri got ran down. Like, everybody's clumped up here, and watch the Rooster play. The Nature's Grasp doesn't hit anybody. Rooster's like, I don't have Fury. I don't care. Ults, and then Carpe gets hit by Shock Blast. He gets stunned. Rooster in the back line. Gets pushed away by the Emperor's Divide. Still doesn't matter. Carpe is super low, and as the Emperor's Divide gets flashed here by Roamer, he comes down and picks up the triple. 2 additional kills here for him. And he and Rooster just said, nah, you guys can't win this fight.
Yeah, the engage was pretty weak. It felt pretty lackluster from Gen.G. It wasn't onto the right targets, and as they were engaging, their backline was getting absolutely decimated. And anything that, you know, like Ophelia's Emperor's Divide had to be used pretty much defensively on just one guy. So all of those tools that you had in your pocket for the side of Gen.G, not really utilized very well, which is why we say in Challengers that sometimes it just comes down to execution. Even in LCK as well, but especially in Challengers, you could have the best scaling draft of all time and lose 50 minutes into the game. It doesn't matter. It's just the way it goes. Hello, Chronicler Beep. Welcome to the chat.
Mr. Destructoid. Yeah, I'm with you on everything you just said. Neither team's engage is very good, but if you
buy Gen.G idiot, get that guy, Chronicler.
Get him.
Get him!
If you have Duskblade on this Jace as well, if he flashes in and gets a kill, it becomes untargetable. So we've seen so many times this last half of the season where you have the Maokai Jace, and the Jace just kind of like holds up his AoE and walks through the team and is like, triple kill! And everyone's like, oh, Jace POG.
So Chronicler, instead of banning him, actually just pins he pinned the comment. Okay, well, anyway. Let's not draw further attention to that.
I just thought Chronicler was kind of a power user. Like, I kind of imagined, just based on Chronicler's insane knowledge of many things, that like he operates his computer with the terminal. Like, when he wants to open Chrome, he presses the Windows key and types CMD and opens up the terminal and then starts typing in code.
Starts hacking.
But I don't know, for some reason
Public
Twitch chat moderation is a little bit of a struggle, but it's okay. Like,
he said it was on purpose this time.
All right.
Interesting. Okay.
So Valis, you and I will talk about what really happened after the show.
He's on his laptop. His touch skills aren't great. It's okay. It's understandable. We can't all have Atlas's beautiful tablet. Not sponsored though, so I'm not gonna say what it is.
It's big.
It is large.
Yeah, like one time he had it propped up on the table and it fell over and like actually blew like some camera guy like who was just trying to enjoy his meal all the way to Timbuktu. It was crazy. No one's ever seen him since. Yeah. And I was just
that happened.
Tablet fell over. Yeah, just blew him like straight through the wall. He like pushed through in a probably mid-40s cameraman shaped hole through the wall and then flew out the window and all the way to Timbuktu. That's how big his tablet is. Yeah.
Okay, well,
All right, so anyway,
Yeah.
Soul Point, 40 seconds till this Hextech Dragon spawns.
And I feel like How Life Esports are playing so far a bit nervously. They're just kind of waiting for Gen.G to make the mistakes, and it's been working. It didn't work a couple of fights ago, but the last fight, it worked beautifully. So I think that it's a good strategy. You know, just wait, see if Gen.G are going to engage onto the Rel and only the Rel, and then maybe you just win the fight anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they will engage on the Rel only, as Ophelia does have teleport, so you can try to come deal with this wave, but now that the Drake has actually spawned, it's really easy for Roamer to continually layer poke here in, as Rooster has GA and he's flanking. That was just a bait. He's like, I'm Rel, better engage on me.
Just a great bait mate. Rooster is here. Ophelia is here. We got the TP coming in from Zest. All 10 members on the Rift getting into the Dragon Pit. And once again, Gen.G, I mean, they have control over the pit, but in goes Rooster Dominus. Flash on into Winner, who is under pressure. And there it is. The Hextech Soul is in the hands of Homolife Esports. The engage comes in and gets on top of Carfe, who is desperately trying to carry this one. The damage is pretty huge, but fortunately he can't quite do it all alone. Can he actually, though? Oh, no, I guess not. 5 people right on top of the Zeri, and that is going to be enough. 6,000 damage and 5,000 damage, not enough from your carries.
Stopwatch lasts too long. He couldn't get out of it to get that hit onto Roamer. Roamer going to teleport back up here to top lane with Rooster to end the game. GG. G to the G. Good game.
G2.
G to the G. GG.
The LEC team G2?
G to the G.
That chest? We had a little Zeri moment for sure. Titanic Zeri would have carried that. The days of non-crit Zeri are over.
They're done. Goodbye.
Yeah. And it feels like this game is a bit over, especially not because it's just another teamfight win, but it's a Hextech Soul for a Sivir. Seems like that's enough.
Well, they do just settle for the inhibitor and the Baron. As this will give Gen.G one weird opportunity here, like one strange potential flip. I don't think that Hanwha Life are going to mess this up, especially considering they have all their ults.
All right, gonna go in there. Winner just pops like a balloon. Nice Emperor's Divide, but again, they are just going to force their way onto the backline. It's a massive shock blast, going to take out 2 at the same time. It's another multi-kill here for Roamer, who is just knocking them down whenever the team sets it up. And Homolife Esports will literally brute force their way through the enemy team into the base and take game 1.
That's a Rooster vote for me. Absolutely insane Renekton performance. Every single fight shaped by his really nice engages. Roamer, kind of the media vote here, I think, but also having a good game. Guan, he pressed R.
He pressed R.
He pressed R, and
that
he pressed
good.
it at the right time. And
there's Grizzly.
Yeah, I love to see Grizzly in the photo. He's just reminding everyone that he was once a part of this team. And that was a one-sided affair. As watch this, Guan has stopwatch here, so he just goes straight in, sets up the really massive root, and then nobody can punish him. And look at this, coming through here on the Renekton. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh. And the shock blast just steals the kills, but like, uh-oh, Rooster.
Also,
level
the
18.
Sivir Q, it got the perfect bounce on the Zeri and did about 7 bajillion damage approximately.
He should have just played lethality Sivir at this point.
Yeah.
Not actually, but it would have been really funny if the game state was the same and he was doing that much damage. Yeah, pretty one-sided.
I think Roamer's going to get it, but I did join you on the Rooster vote. I think the Renekton was a big win condition for them.
But triple kills, Valdez. The JC
multiple
Q
triple
towards
kills.
them after Renekton did everything.
Listen, this game was about the damage that Jace was able to output, okay? Paid for by media.
Media called and said, "Listen, I'd like to
they have me
my
on speed
opinion
dial. You know, we've been going back and forth for quite a while. They've been contacting me directly, not happy with me just calling them out.
Yeah,
and
Brendan gave him the boom boom back. Let's just say on the phone.
it did.
A little bit of boom boom.
Little boom boom phone call.
Well, if this is any indication of how this series is going to look, it's not looking great for Gen.G so far. There were some moments, to be sure, but like the Drake secure was, they had that.
We never had a real Zeri moment, though.
No.
Even though he did do quite a nice amount of damage in the team fights, didn't really have the moment that was necessary to really take over the game. And again, I felt like the engages from Gen.G were kind of lackluster. You know, it had to be really clean with your Vi and Rakan, and then the follow-up from the Kusante and Zir, but wasn't quite there.
No.
Not quite on the same level as Homolites.
The positioning of Ophelia and Carfe in that one Drake fight they won was quite nice with the assistance there in the top lane of the top laner. But yeah, it's going to have to be better. It's going to have to be cleaner. And the Zeri priority, I think it's fine to prioritize Zeri, but not that highly. I think maybe get some stronger picks instead as the Vi that they were also reliant on from Winter.
Coming up, it'd been nice to just leave the Rakan and take the Maokai second.
Yeah.
You know, like if you are going to go for the Zeri and you are going to commit this hard, just take a Maokai. He kind of does everything. Or even like a Renekton. I wouldn't have minded. You know, get someone who's going to be able to flash and press a button and get someone. And you had that with the Vi, but kind of not really the same Vi dominance state that we have had in the past.
Certainly not. I think we're still tallying POG votes. I also just assume that we have POG for playoffs. We might not, but
they gave us the thumbs up on our votes.
Yeah.
So I think yes.
Maybe like WTG is like, no, it has to be Rooster. I can't believe that everyone voted for Roamer.
Yeah, Roamer 6-0-7. Huge boom boom damage this game.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a bit of a robbening, but
One
it's okay.
vote diff with top. Thank you, Yundo. I think I know where Yundo put his vote.
Yeah.
He voted for Rel.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you can't win them all, but you can win the game and win our hearts. As chat, Valdez and myself know that was definitely a Rooster angle. I love Roamer. I think he's a great player. He had a perfect KDA this game. And 31% of his team's damage.
Oh, he's a top voter. Okay.
Oh,
Based,
no.
Yundo.
Based. He knows the truth.
Yeah.
He sees the game the way we see the game, which is the only way to see the game. There are no other opinions. There are no boom booms that are correct.
Well, yeah. Yes, it is a best of 5. It is 2 best of 5s today. 2
times 2. I mean, 2, like 1 best of 5 times 2. Not 2 best of
5
5
times 2 is
10.
10 game Timothy. And I don't think it's going to happen after this first game that we just witnessed. This first series feels like it's very one-sided. And Hololive Esports came in a little bit slow, but it was pretty methodical. You know, they didn't overstep their boundaries. They kind of just played to their win conditions, and they played it out well. We'll see if they can continue with that, guys, after a quick break. Hello and welcome back to Challenger Logs, where we chop down the trees and take them back as logs. We just had Homolife Esports destroying Gen.G in game number 1. And for a lot of the game, it was kind of they were just waiting around for Gen.G to make some mistakes, and they did. So I'm a little bit worried for Gen.G, even though it is Challengers, and maybe Homolife Esports don't play quite as clean in game number 2, but I don't know, Wolf. What do you think?
Yeah, I do think that there's a possibility. Slam my eye. I'm like, sorry, guys. Okay. I'm just getting really emotional because I'm really worried about what you said. I think there's a world where Gen.G play a draft that gives them a little bit more agency, and then they seize the opportunity. But that last draft was fine. It just like if you could play it really well and you seem really confident on it, yeah, cool. But they didn't, and then things went really wrong when they really wanted to get first dragon, because if you get first dragon with a Zeri comp like this, you're going to really outlast, well, not necessarily outlast the Sivir, but get to a position where the Zeri is going to be relevant in those early fights. They couldn't quite do that because Sivir spikes a little bit earlier, and she also spikes later, and then she also has really good wave clear, so if she's got the protection, which she did, / just insane engage from the real POG, the Crocodile, yeah, I like the chances there. But don't force for Drake like that when you know the Maokai's there. Like, that was the first big thing that went wrong. I think that they can avoid mistakes like that if the coaching staff, really hones in on it going to the second game. And they did pick blue.
Yeah, they picked blue side. No subs.
No subs.
That's a very cool bear. It's saying
win.
Win! She's secretly a winner fan?
I think it said at the bottom that, every time she's watched Gen.G play, including the LCK team, they've won. I think that's what it said. 100% of the time she went to watch them live, they won. So that might be going down a little bit unless something changes here.
Which team has the best color scheme?
Out of all the teams, or just out of these two teams? Because out of just these two, I hate to do it to you, Gen.G, but I'm gonna have to go Hanwha. I think their colors are pretty strong.
Super dive. Calm down, winner. Go, go.
And then, Gen.G. I don't know what that means there on the bottom.
There was Jio there as well.
Yeah. Weird. But the top of the signs also said calm down.
I just got here. On a scale of LCS to that's Challengers, baby, how was game 1? I'd say it was
about
somewhere in the middle. Yeah, it was somewhere in the middle. It was kind of a calm LCS game without too many mistakes from one team. It's I don't know, did C9 play against whoa, we are drifting. Whoa, how far are we gonna go? Maybe they just wanted to get the Gen.G sign on the camera. I don't know, but for a moment there I was like, whoa.
Winner and Ophelia have the same name.
No.
Oh, wait, no, they don't. I have dyslexia, sorry. I just found out. Jinsong and Jusong. They're given names. But never mind. Never mind, Chad. Yeah, well, that's
what did they mean by that? It's not spelled correctly. Zaya.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, is going to come in here as the first pick.
I just looked at the words and my brain arranged them how my brain wanted them to be.
Gotta take away the Rakan. Easiest 3-0 of my life. That guy just cursed it so hard.
Well, I mean, so far this is looking pretty good for Gen.G, honestly. They got Zaya.
They did get Zaya. Yeah. There's no Kaisa. And in terms of carries, what do you have?
I mean, Jace is not viable here with no Maokai. Oh, is it a Roamer Ahri game?
Oh, okay. Okay. What if they just pick
Lissandra?
Lissandra Maokai. Whoa.
Ew, I don't like it.
It's not a lot of damage, but it's incredibly safe.
Lissandra Lee Sin?
Imagine Lissandra Maokai into Rakan Vi. It's okay, they engage, and you're like, yeah, cool story, bro.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. It's just going to be Rel and Picasante. We're keeping it basic as Unwell Life. See if that Ari is going to come through. I think it's going to cost you a prio 80 carry if that's what you want to do, but I don't think any 80 carry in the pool really screams, I want this draft. Like, even Zeri doesn't really make sense that much here. But
that's challengers, baby.
They're going to do it anyways. They could have
Vine
picked
to
Azir,
Zaya, Rakan, Zeri. I don't know, man.
Well, it's okay because it's just a challengers draft and we don't have to read too much into it. But Nico taken off the board, and let's see what Gen.G have planned here, because obviously the Ari feels very strong right now in this draft, at least from a perspective of LCK. For challengers, maybe not so much. Nocturne removed. Span Ari, don't.
How do you like your eggs?
Over medium.
Over medium.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to overcook them?
No.
And force a rumble into the jungle?
No, I wouldn't do that.
I would do that. Okay. You know, my family, my mom actually likes her eggs brown. Not like totally brown, but like overcooked. Like well done. Scrambled eggs.
Oh, scrambled eggs, yeah. I mean, that's not too uncommon. I think that's
really?
Yeah. I don't think you guys are understanding what Valdez means, chat.
I'm saying cooked to the point of like where it starts to
crispy a little bit.
Yeah, like a bit crispy, but not like the fried crispy, like the rubbery, like overcooked scrambled eggs brown. Yes.
Like a lot of people like their omelets, you know.
Yeah, like an omelet. Yeah.
Gnar into Cassante, pretty strong choice, but I have questions about what this is going to look like in team fights. There's that Lee Sin I was hinting at here, but in a very different type of draft. I actually still think Lee Sin Lissandra is pretty good here.
I like my eggs out of my breakfast.
That's really strange. As Affiliate will be playing his 19th game of Azir.
Wow. Okay. Well, we knew that a 3-0 was too much. And so all the 3-0 voters and challengers looking at you, Atlas.
This looks like a
will be punished.
Giga draft gap for Gen.G for me. Like,
yeah. No, it is.
Like, Omega. You picked Xerath into Azir, Lee Sin, Rel, Cassante. With a really strong front line on Hanwha Life. Wait.
But Wolf,
there's no front line?
Did you know that Xerath is the old school counter to Azir in the lane?
Apparently it's the new school counter as well. That's what people say. Faker won with it.
Faker did win, so I guess it's just the best pick into Azir now.
I don't have a lot of faith in this comp for Hanwha Life. I think the best way this works is you somehow force out Zaya's ult. Good luck. And then buy ults onto Carfe, and then Roamer just blows him up before he can do anything with just like his long range poke, and then instantly he ults, and like Carfe can't get away. And then maybe you win the subsequent fight, but you gotta watch out for Azir and Lee Sin killing you while that's happening.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned, Valdez. I don't like this.
You just have to sit very far away. You don't do anything with your team, by the way. There's no synergy at all. Other than the fact that there is some lockdown with like a Vi, and that's about it. You sit very far away and you try to outpoke the Xayah, I guess. Other than that, I feel like this is just, okay, this is flavor of the month. It's good into Azir. We're just going to pick it here.
There's just so much.
How many games of Xerath has Roamer really played?
Yeah, that's a good question. 0 this season so far in professional. And there's just so many ways to access the Xerath. Like, as far back as you go, there's a lot of champions that can get in there.
Very weird. Okay, let's jump into game 2. Doop, doop, doop. Well, at least he's dancing.
He has played one. Is it? No, Roamer has played one. Oh, sorry, Ophelia has played one. I can't read today. So Xerath has been played by Roamer or sorry, Ophelia. Romer has not played it.
He is currently playing it.
He is playing it currently. Clearly the counter.
Mana Flow Band, Stackaroonie, Wind Scorch, which I think is fine. Like, if you're going to play this and play it for lane, try to, you know, poke at the Azir and be annoying. Might as well go Scorch, I guess.
They're big Zer enjoyers. Zerith, Zeri. Anything else? Nope, they got 100% of the Zers.
Gerald?
Well, if he continues to lane like this, maybe.
I don't know.
No, I kind of identified early, like there's no more, and I just dropped it, but...
Zerald of Rivia. Ziggs. Ah, yes.
Xin Zhao, maybe is like the closest.
Look at the poking. Wow.
He certainly did do a little bit of poke damage there.
So, Ophelia, what I want you to do is you go back and you buy boots as soon as you possibly can. And you'll have a better time.
Yeah, he's going to wait till he runs out of health and that Roman runs out of mana, and then he will do just that. I have to imagine. Because having speed is going to feel very nice. Getting away.
What is your favorite stat in the game?
My favorite stat? That's a really good question. Probably AP. I think it's strong to get stronger and do more magic damage.
What about attack damage?
Not as fun, but still pretty fun. I like attack speed more than attack damage.
So this is on Vision.
Yep.
And Winner has no idea. He places down a ward. He does not know that he's on Vision, and this can easily get smote away. Assuming that he doesn't know, there it is. Guwon comes in, smites it away, even hits Winner. And weirdly enough, the Azir is pushing the Xerath in. Who could have seen this coming?
I kind of expected this, actually, Valdez.
Really?
Yeah. As it turns out, Azir can play Sand Soldiers well and start zoning the Xerath out, actually, after a few levels come through. And the Xerath is also going to be under a lot of threat once level 6 gets hit for mid and jungle. As Ophelia is running a little bit low on health, but he still has a decent amount of mana. He's going to go back and buy those boots you were talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's got cookies. He's going to buy boots. He's going to teleport back into lane. He is Azir. There is no counter to Azir. It's not Xerath.
Yeah. The counter to Azir is when Riot buffs Azir, or sorry, nerfs Azir a little bit, and then he just goes away for a while until eventually he resurfaces. After some like strange buff comes back through.
It's actually true. Like there's no counter to Azir, there's only answers.
Yeah.
Or like stuff you can lane with.
Silas, Akali, you know.
Yone. Funnily all
Tristana.
Melee champions.
Tristana, like, I don't feel like it's the answer, but has done fine.
Well, some more important questions. Do you think each Sand Soldier has a name?
No.
They just don't have names at all? They're just Sand Soldier?
Yeah.
A, Sand Soldier B? Or maybe it's Sand Soldier 1, 2, 3?
I think they're just tools, you know, for him to use. I don't think they're really alive. It's like,
how do you
I don't name
them?
all of my knives, but I do, like, know what type of knife they are. Actually, I don't.
Isn't that technically their name, then, in that case? Is there a Sand Captain?
It's like naming your cardboard boxes. It's like, you don't really need to do that. You could label them, I guess, but...
I think the knives comparison is better.
Well, all the Sand Soldiers are the same. So...
Yeah. Well...
Except the ones in the Emperor's Divide. They're like a little bit more...
So, we know Azir, but what about Bzir and Czir?
How to answer this?
Does Azir have a favorite Sand Soldier?
Any of them.
Any of them? They're all the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
All Sand Soldiers are equal.
Caesar was Ronin, right? yeah, he was. Dzir? Yes. Winner, he's just loving walking over a bunch of wards. He's just having a great time of it. And this means that he's going to be in trouble, actually. Oh, he gets hit by the stun. He is so dead. It's
Dude,
first blood and
stun.
blue buff over to Romer. Oh,
my
God.
That stun hit is so
Actually
good.
the worst possible outcome
Well,
for winner.
yeah, for Ophelio as well, like, he's like, why you gotta do this to me? I'm just trying to lane into a long-range matchup. It's very frustrating. I can do it. I've got 6, but actually I want you to stay away. Winner is also going to be a little bit later on getting level 6 himself now as he's out of the jungle. Is Duro gonna miss this one? They're committing the ghost.
Little crash down. Lospa's in a little bit of trouble though. He's taking a bunch of damage as Ignite comes down. Not the cleanest choice, I would say. But you know, Rel's gonna do that. We got level 6. Xerath is angling down towards the bottom side, maybe looking to do some extra projectiles with his new upgrade on the recent patch. But no, not going to do that. As we said, Ophelio went back, got Merc Treads right away. That's what you got to do. And now Xerath doesn't matter. Xerath does have very good wave clear, though. So.
He also has blue buff, so he's got even better wave clear and better mana. So it does feel really nice that he can just sit here in lane, shove those out, and then threaten the bottom lane, keeping Carpe at bay. And the timing of level 6 for the Lee Sin, like I mentioned, is significantly delayed. Guwon's sitting on that advantage right now, so you can't gank the Xerath. He's also got the wave now pulled back towards his turret. And even though we don't really like the Xerath that much, you can't deny that that early mistake from Winner is going to really make it feel a lot better.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it was like a free gift, right? And it's just really good warding, and Winner not really respecting the potential for that. And that's really what it comes down to. As we do have HLE Esports making a play at this first Drake. One individual Ocean Drake is actually going to feel really nice in all of your lanes. Just for trading and early laning phase, getting it pretty early on. Not super early, like 8 minutes. Sometimes we see teams get it even as early as like 5:30 if you start it right away. But now they got one objective and they're running straight at the other one.
Yeah, see if Gen.G can deny this, as right now, bit of lane prio here topside for Rooster. Mid, the Azir is on the objective first, but not enough control here to hold on to it, as it will be started here by Rooster just to confirm nobody's on it. Winner is hiding here, hoping for an angle, but there's a ward now to spot the entry point, and if you're going to contest this, you've got to set up first, Gen.G. Breaking through here into this Rakan with ult is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it definitely will be. As keep in mind, Romer only has a lost chapter, already doing a nice amount of poke damage, as you can see in the choke. Zest has a very nice angle. Let's see if Gen.G can stick the landing on this one, though, as the Q comes in, Winner goes in, he goes out. You can't explain that. Now he's up against the wall, and he's isolated and dead. As HLE Esports take the free kill, Guwon has to go in, does not have flash, and he might just be the sacrificial body there after picking up the objective. So ends up being a trade of junglers, but HLE Esports come out big.
Yeah, HLE Esports picking up the objective, picking up that kill, and they did end up losing flash on 2 critical members, as well as, like, Duro had to flash there too, but Romer fighting in the pit, hoping to actually use the pit against Gen.G and use it as like a kind of a stronghold. But unfortunately, you know, despite the secure here of the eye, Winner tries to make a play and gets taken out. But look at as they collapse on him, look who's abandoned. Romer, Guwon here, just stuck in the pit. Guwon gonna go down. Romer has to flash. So a bit awkward there. Not the cleanest we've ever seen. And I think if you win that fight super decisively and Romer doesn't have to flash there, like, it doesn't matter, but they didn't quite have the control they were looking for. As Ludens, we do not like this pick on the Xerath. At least I don't. I think it's probably the worst option you could go with in this particular game, but
A little bit of a flex, you could say.
yeah.
We have seen mostly teams do it that aren't common freaks, do it in a position of, we are much better than you, and it's going to work out. And this is happening.
Could have been Leandri's, you know, into Cassante. I would have taken that one myself.
Yeah. But Ludens into, it's a nice amount of penetration. I mean, you are going to be loving that on the Xerath, and there are a bunch of squishy targets. And if my theory is correct of like, okay, well, you get to outpoke the Azir and the Xayah and basically just don't interact with them and get a bunch of poke damage before the fight goes down, then maybe those are your targets anyway.
Yeah, maybe. 2 minutes until Drake.
Casters, we know you don't like Xerath. Are you sure? I really don't like Xerath.
I don't think you guys fully understand.
Let us explain again.
I don't think chat fully understands our opinion on this after we went into it in a deep way on the LCK as well. But, you know, maybe they'll understand eventually. And you know what? It might work. It might win. It might actually win. Up, you know, right now 1,000 gold. The Ludens, yeah, it's not going to offer you the same sort of consistent damage, but it might kill somebody instantly if they are out of position. They're locked down and hit by every spell.
Pausa.
Pause. Pause.
Stop comment.
We will let you guys know as soon as we know what is going on. I don't see any referees here on the HLE side.
Issue.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a device hardware issue. Maybe they just go ahead and fix it. It's kind of, how does it happen that like they've been playing the game for 15 minutes almost, maybe like 10 minutes, and then they're like, my mic stopped working. That's strange. Like, how does that happen?
Generally speaking, with the setups that we have here, it's probably a local cable issue of some kind. Like something got bumped or was not holding connection. Because generally speaking, in Korean esports events like this one and at the LCK, we don't use a third-party program like Skype or Discord or TeamSpeak. It's actually just a hardwired connection to prevent any sort of issue with internet affecting the sound quality. It's like legit the same sort of connection that is connected to our microphones right now. That's then sent to, you know, a computer that will transmit that over the internet. But for them, it's only transmitted locally and also recorded locally, so we can have those really cool open mic segments and stuff. But it looks like the issue is already resolved. Might have just been a cable being pushed in a little bit harder. And then we'll get back to the game.
Would the players pause if the caster's mic broke? No. Yes,
No.
Wolf, why does stuff break after time? They should fix that. It's called planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
We had this discussion one time.
I really don't like planned obsolescence.
Make it so that our products are not as high quality as they used to be so that you can replace them and keep on buying our products.
If you talk to anybody who lived like in the 60s to 80s, basically, they're the people who complain about this the most because products were just so much more quality back then. But it seems to be actually that's in fact true. Like quality products were made with higher quality back then. It's more of a learned business practice to make them less so to save money and get them to buy more things.
If your things broke, don't break. How do you get new big shiny?
Well, I think back in the old days, brand identity was more important than it is now because now all those brands have identities. So if you trust the brand, you're just going to buy it even if it doesn't feel like it's the best quality ever, whereas back then it was more competing about like which one is the best quality and which one do you trust. Now you already trust it, so like, buy a new one. Oh, that's my theory.
Which type of light bulb do you like?
Like, you mean like fluorescent versus incandescent?
Yeah.
Probably incandescent looks cooler, but it's less practical, and we're running out of tungsten, so...
We're running out of tungsten?
I mean, that's what I heard. It's, like, pretty hard to get.
When are we going to master the art of alchemy so we can turn anything into anything else?
Stumped me on that one. I don't know.
What year do you think it is that will happen? Not the current year.
When was Full Metal Alchemist released? Something like 2005, something like that.
Yeah. We're running out of chocolate.
Romer?
Romer just
poking them
doing
out.
the boom boom.
They just didn't even show up. it's Chemtech Soul, so I think that trend is going to continue.
Yeah. I was just getting a text from my boy. Oh, he's okay, I think. No R button gonna come through, but the Xerath ult is beginning to do some insane damage. I think he's got at least one more.
I think he's out of range. Like he was back basically at mid, and he's already down under inner. Like Xerath's ult range is quite high, but it's not that high. I don't think it was. I think he just got out of range.
We're learning about the Phoebus cartel. Thank you for this very informative moment. Make Xerath ult global range. I agree. Does Summoner's Rift have tungsten? Maybe we should try? Should we start digging?
I don't think the developers had that in mind.
Should we ask Rek'Sai to help out?
Maybe in the MMO they'll be clues.
I hope so.
Maybe if this broadcast goes viral one day, they'll put us in the game as an inside joke about tungsten being on in Runeterra at least.
You have to mine top lane for critical minerals.
Yeah. So, Soul Point, kind of irrelevant. Second Herald, pretty relevant. Pretty relevant over here. Life gonna group. And Gen.G winner. If you want to blast in without the rest of your team, probably want to be a little bit more patient here. He's gonna hang on. And Xerath doesn't have ult, so see what happens here.
Yeah, positioning going to be critical on this one, as the Q is going to come in from winner. Considering getting on in there, Meganar timing from Rooster is fantastic as it is stolen away, but let's see this fight. A huge Gnar ultimate comes in, followed up by the Rakan. And Karfia wasn't even here for the beginning of the fight as Xerath ultimate does get back up as flash forward now from the Gnar. And it's 3 kills so far to the side of Life Esports. Will it be even more as Lures, considering going over the wall, gets a nice big zap on in there as Duro is...
He wanted to try to set up the Zeri for success, but it's going to backfire a little bit. But that's okay. Lure has 3 kills now, and they are able to secure the Herald. What?
Lure?
Yeah. Lure.
Oh, Lure. Okay.
What would you think?
I thought you meant our host, Lore.
Oh, no. I hope she got 3 kills. I mean, as far as I know.
So, yeah. Me too. I hope not.
She's actually in Korea.
Yeah, Laura's
joining us for playoffs.
Laura's going to be back tomorrow.
So, this fight here is Rooster carrying. Roamer gets his ultimate in the later part of the fight. His positioning is really good. Yeah, you get the steal, but look at this turn. Vi ults in. Rooster gets on top of Lee Sin. Lure double ult here on critical targets and has a lot of space. And then after this, just be happy with what you got, you know? But Set we're a little bit not happy with that. Lure gonna flash the wall, and when they have Emperor's Device, it's a little bit peculiar. But they're feeling themselves. Old Extendo Beam probably kills there, actually.
Yeah. Even with just one item. Probably just crits and you die. Yeah. Well, at this point in time, I mean, the one Rift Herald going the way of Gen.G, I don't really know that Zest is going to get a lot of value out of that. And if your Xerath gets ahead and already has 2 items, plus you have a 3-0 Zeri, I don't feel like there's a world in which Life Esports lose this game. Even in Challengers, it's going to be very difficult for them. As this is why you generally don't... Okay. Just going to force Karfia to flash here. Very, very nice. I was like, that's why you don't pick Vi into Zion. Then I was like, oh. He almost dies because he pressed R with the Xayah.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Vi forces him to ult first, that's like how you win these fights. Like we were talking about it in the draft. I mean, you can win fights in other ways, as has been highlighted in these last 2 objective fights, but it was pretty elementary there. Karfia will have to flash, uses his ult, and it's not going to have those abilities available for this Chemtech Soul Point fight. Hanwha Life, they kind of care about it. Like, they don't care that much, but they kind of care. You know, they're like, it's going to spawn Elder later. We should probably keep getting these. Like, some stats are all right. Rakan's extra healing for his Gleaming Quill that Valdez loves so much, you know?
I love it. Great ability. Xerath is 2 tapping waves. because he is so far ahead of the curve. And Gen.G, I mean, they're going to make a big stance here, even on this first Hemtech break.
The Zeri is pushing the Cassante away, and that's when you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Duro on the flank.
Yeah, Duro's got an excellent angle, and already Winner is just not really in the fight. 1,120 damage coming in. We got TP from the Cassante, but it's almost like he's just getting in position to get zoned away with the rest of his team. As I suppose you do need some kind of front line. Meganar is going to be procced here as the Xerath ultimate in position, just zoning with the Extendo Beam is already 3,000 damage done by the Xerath.
Yeah, I mean, now's the time you have to start this fight up here as Zest, but very far behind. Winner going to get some health back here. Maybe look for a flank, but Rooster's just blocking him out. This is a really tough spot here for Hanwha Life. They don't have the range. They need an engage. Like, Affiliate, you got to go in, or Zest needs to go in. Otherwise, you're just going to lose this fight very slowly here. Imagine if it was Leandri's. Could be even worse.
Ah! Carpe! He's not in the fight anymore. He doesn't even have Featherstorm yet. He's about to get it. Oh, he nearly dies to a boomerang. Well, there goes your AD carry. Down he goes before the fight even begins. Well, at least Gen.G got the Drake, right? But they did lose 3 members and probably the game. As Hanwha Life Esports are going to be looking for this Baron that's about to spawn with their gigantic lead.
Yep, Baron up. They're going to walk over and take it. And the poke from the Xerath was never answered. Ophelia still doesn't have, it still didn't use Emperor's Divide, still has that one available, questionably, and eventually
looks good in challengers if you just stand there and take the poke for
No,
years.
exactly. It's like why LeBlanc Shiv worked at the beginning, where everyone's like, wait, I don't know what to do. They keep poking us. It's a similar idea, and the lower the coordination, the more power this pick has. As Carpe just eventually gets ulted by Guon, because Guon's like, well, he's low, doesn't have ult. I mean, look how low he is. Rooster's going on the flank, already used his Gnar, but it doesn't matter. And just come in. Okay, got kicked away, can't actually go for the Drake. Who cares? I'll go for the Zion.
Didn't even ult. He just like died in mid-ult. Like he got hit by the Season's Assist and like a auto attack as that was happening. Oh, we got a new chatter that's looking to get banned. That's lovely. Yeah, the Xerath is really
Last
popping
time
off in a
chatter.
big way. First time chatter, last time chatter. Love it. But yeah, it's really one-sided, Wolf. This is, I mean, look at the damage in this game already. The Xerath got ahead. There was never an answer. And he and the rest of Hanwha Life Esports have been allowed to sit there and dunk on the enemy team over and over and over again.
That has been just straight up a fish in a barrel situation, let's say. And Winner here kind of wins some of these smite fights in the mid game. At least wasn't going so well for him when he was invading in the early game. But there's a press hit, Baron push now. It's going to be so hard to stop here as the Xerath can just clear these waves. And Luden's going to feel really nice in this situation where if you just hit one shot, you chunk somebody down. When you're ahead, it feels fantastic. On team fights, you know, wish I had Leandri's, but when you're just hitting a single target while pushing waves, feels nice. As look at the positioning here of Guon. He's just going to come over and threaten so they can't protect this turret. And the gold lead is starting to really explode. 7,000 now for Hanwha Life. See if a second item can be picked up here for Rooster. Yep, Cleaver. And a needlessly large rod.
Cleaver's
picked up
not
for
on
Roamer.
this team.
Not yet.
Cleaver's on Kwangdong Freaks.
Yeah, I know. But Cleaver's into inventories of Rooster and Guon as well.
How come Zeri didn't build a Black Cleaver as well? That's my question.
Ask your parents about that one. Only they can
How
explain
does
this to you.
Azir collect all of the sand that he uses to make the sand soldiers? And how small are the buckets? The game is over, Wolf. There's nothing to talk about in the game anymore. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Xerath looks very strong in the hands of Roamer. Because, you know, sometimes you pick a champion like this and, well, I'm not even going to get to talk about it. Ophelia's just dead. 100 to 0'd. And, yeah, no counterplay, I guess. But yeah, like, sometimes you play against teams that will dodge the poke a bit better, or the poke from the Xerath isn't quite as accurate, and then they engage you and it just dies. But in this case, Roamer's been pretty accurate.
He's been accurate. His positioning has been good, but Gen.G just have watched him kill them. You know, that you have to be willing to get on top of the Xerath, because the strength of Xerath is range and high damage output. The weakness is immobility and the ability to be picked off, and if they just pick him off every time, how do you play it out? And the Gnar bars for Rooster have been really good this game too, so he's been able to pretty successfully zone them out of these fights, and he's really the biggest line of defense that you have outside of like Guan ulting somebody who's going in and Duro just pressing Charm. But Roamer's kind of been doing it overall on his own. And Gen.G, if you don't ever try to kill the Xerath, you will do big numbers. And I think you might rob POG again, Valdez. It's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. Although in this case, I might vote for him as well.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Trying to change the chat narrative that he doesn't like Xerath.
If you can't beat him, join him, you know. It's the only way to go. Guan, he does have his ult back. And he's looking to press far onto someone.
Yeah. The question is, who will it be?
I'm going to guess Ophelia. Seems like a pretty good option.
What about Carpe?
You can force out the ult and poke him out. Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I'm thinking. Also, if you want to secure the Drake, you could do it on Winter. Or
Winter Mage 5 in the chat, yeah.
Winter StarCraft?
Yeah. Winter SC. Winter the season.
Mrs. Winners?
Yeah.
You don't have Mrs. Winners in New York, right?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. Well, this is like not even a game anymore.
I want an Urgon skin called Burgot, where he's just a Borgor. I like that, actually.
I do like that as well.
A burger with
that
legs.
actually sounds like really legit. That's an amazing skin idea.
Press R onto the Azir, and the divide is pretty nice, but it doesn't matter how nice your divide is at this point in time. By the way, Carpe wasn't here for any of this, as he does join in. The Mega Gnar is very good, but the Featherstorm at response, oh god, he's just dead. Okay. Nice try, but you just lost your entire health bar in the span of 0.3 seconds, as maybe Zest can survive. No, he can't. That is a perfect ace from the side of Homolife Esports. We're just playing with their food at this point in time.
Yeah, right before the Baron spawns? 10 seconds? And what were we fighting for up there?
They just got caught. I don't know. They were like posturing in a...
They wanted to
spot
clear
on the map,
vision
I guess. Yeah.
And prepare for the Baron take. And they set up a Sun Disc to catch waves so they could then be able to force their way through the choke point around blue buff. But ultimately, they decided to take their stand away from the Sun Disc turret. Ophelia's ult, nowhere near the Xerath. And Xerath thrives in terrain like this because Gen.G are up here super deep. And I even thought they had the turret set. They didn't even have the turret set here when they started off. They were way deeper up. Teleport comes through, and Guan's flank is pretty massive. And it's a nice Emperor's Divide, but like, look at how Xerath utilizes this terrain. When you're this far ahead, like, no one can get on top of Roamer. And it was a defensive ult from Ophelia, hoping to save the day. And Rooster comes in. He's got stopwatch. And you know what? I think it might be a Roamer vote, to be honest. Like, yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah. I think it might be him this time.
So,
I'm changing my tune.
Changing our tune here on the desk. 27.5 minutes. Homolife Esports say, well, we like you guys. We'll end it now. We'll put you out of the misery of this game. 13,000 gold, the lead. Yeah, Baron buff. We got a TP coming in from Rooster here in a moment. There it is. Flash comes in. R button onto Ophelia. And the Xerath ultimate not ready, so actually he just dies. The layering of damage not quite there this time around, as a lot of damage members on the side of Gen.G. There goes Carpe's entire health bar. And the turrets are down here, but it is a 4v5 as they just back away and poke them with their Xerath. as Roamer just can't miss. He just doesn't miss. And they're all just here in a barrel. And no real way to escape. As the slow poke of the Nexus will come down. Game number 2 goes into the hands of Home Life Esports.
Match point now 2-0 in this best of 5. And Roamer and crew making it look easy.
Roamer's just making the series about him, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, game 1, like, come on, he robbed.
No, yeah, sure.
But he played well.
He's like, no, it's my POG for real. And Rooster also had an excellent game.
He had a really good game, too. Like, his Gnar bar setups were really good. His peel was great, but I watch Roamer here. This is, if you can hit these and you go Ludens.
Ow.
I'll let you go Ludens for
Ow.
this. Yeah. I'll let you go Ludens for that one.
How many kills did Lure have? About 8,000 million. Yeah. He actually did more damage than Xerath.
He did.
Maybe we should have voted
But I think,
for Zeri.
I think the Xerath damage was more impactful.
What is the Zeri-Xerath combo name? Zerathi?
I don't know. I don't know if it's really a combo, to be honest. I don't think it's really a combo.
It's Zeri with an X.
Yeah, but how? But you can't actually associate a difference between saying Zeri or Zeri.
Zeri-Wrath.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna make this a thing, Chad. I don't think so.
I think we are. I think it's happening. X-Ray. Cringe. Yeah, I like that one. We could just call it cringe.
Gen.G.
Yeah. I think Zerathi is about as close as you're gonna get. My heart voted for
Yeah,
Duro.
he had a few good moments. He had a few less good moments, but like
my heart didn't vote for Duro.
Rooster
actually.
and Roamer for me.
Yeah.
And like Guwon maybe like a little shout. Like if there was a media and they voted for Guwon, I'd be like, it was well.
Guwon pressed his R button onto good targets, and Xerath and Zerathi lined it up. The highest win rate Xerath has had through the seasons was 50% in Season 9. As Roamer is going to pick this one up 2-0 and 10. Just insane amounts of damage in this game. Look at his damage per gold.
Yeah, 211%.
That's crazy.
Kind of unsurprising, though,
especially when the team got so much gold.
Yeah, they did. They were stomping, and he continued to be a part of that. And 0 deaths on Xerath into the composition they're playing against is pretty impressive. I think it says a lot about his positioning, but also says a lot about Gen.G's inability to be decisive on those fights. And I hate to say it, but I think it's looking like we've got a 3-0 on our hands. You know, that is the way it's looking right now, unless something drastically changes for Gen.G to start the first step of a reverse sweep. Yeah.
The first step. One small step for this one. As, no, I don't think that was the case, Hard Zombie. I read your message. I don't believe that's why he named himself Rooster.
What did he say?
Something that I can't repeat on the broadcast, but it's a good question. It's a good question. Maybe he did. We'll never know. But guys, it's 2-0 to Home Life Esports, a pretty one-sided series, and we will be back for game number 3. Godowdy, mates. We are here for game number 3 as LCK CL playoffs are on the way, ongoing. And games number 1 and 2, game number 1 was like, okay. Game number 2 was like, whoa, this is not very close. What is game number 3 going to look like?
Well, I want to see a draft for Gen.G where they actually give themselves simple to execute agency. And then they just go in. Just go in. Only go in. I want a draft where they have to have, like, Nocturne, Ahri, Lissandra Vi, Ahri, you know, something like that. Maybe that will be enough to convince them to get into the back line. Because right now they're kind of just watching the map go. They're like, they're over there. They're taking the things. I'm going to, like, just peeking at it. And Hanwha Life are like, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Smite that.
And then they get hit in the face with lightning. The Zerathi combo was big. Denunciator just dies of Cronge, so that's unfortunate. Do you think Gen.G is going to select blue side again? Or maybe they pick red? They're like, well, blue side didn't work, so...
Maybe, but I think that if they pick red side, Maokai just gets banned, and it's like, what are you going to do with red side? That's the one thing you can get on red side, I think, is Maokai Jace. You're like, I gave you something else, like Kai'Sa, Sejuani, something like that. And we got Maokai Jace. That's kind of how it goes. And if they ban it because you picked red side and they just kind of default to that, then don't know. I think blue side is still stronger at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you just go blue, mix something up. Maybe even ban Xerath if you just don't know how to deal with it. And, okay, they picked red.
Okay.
So...
also, usually in a best of 5, if a team picks blue multiple times and then they're like, yeah, you know what? We're picking red now. It's like, it sounds desperate. Sounds desperate, but let's see what they want to do with
selection in game 1.
True. Yeah, they only had it in game 2 and 3. Oh. But,
didn't saw game 1, but game 2 Hanwha Life draft was much better, and once Xerath got first kill and didn't punish in lanes, it was over. These sport coats are not ours.
No.
They're supplied by Wardrobe.
I don't know if I would call them sport coats, but...
Sport coat?
I would call them e-sport coats.
Rooster!
Oh, the resemblance is uncanny. I guess he's playing Cassante in game 3.
I guess he has to.
Yeah.
Cassante, Master, Rooster. Let's go for the second round. Hanwha Life Esports.
And also a Lure fan there on the top right. Hanwha looking very good so far. Lure's like teaching him. He's like reading his palm. He's like, I see round 2 in your future. He's like, I see a long playoffs run. I don't know what was up with that. Lure's just apparently a palm reader. Gen.G Academy. The most... Really?
Yes.
It's like not a Gen.G thing. You can't just take Def's thing and apply it to everything.
Yes, you can.
No, I don't think you can.
You can.
I mean, you could take Deft and apply it to like
shouldn't.
Juhan's skin for some reason. That's really weird as well, but
it's because alpacas are cute. That's why.
Yeah. I think Juhan, he deserves a world skin. I think it's a little bit weird that they're like, it's also a Deft skin, by the way.
Let's make a circle with our hands.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a heart, though.
Didn't look like a heart to me.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty heart-like.
Wolf, the literal Korean men's national team, did it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And they were allowed.
I thought that was more of a shout-out to Deft. But Gen.G's down 0-2. I don't know about that.
Yes.
I want Burgot. It needs to happen now. I'm going to keep talking about it every time it comes up.
We need Burgot. The Xayah ban, they're like, well, we don't want to have to play Xerath again. Don't make us. We're going to ban Xayah.
It's a good way to trade a Kai'Sa ban.
This is the same bans from game 1.
Yeah, very reminiscent. Kai'Sa ban in that final spot. Maokai first pick.
Maokai.
Could be Maokai. No,
Rel.
it's just Rel, just like last time. Legit the same
Rel.
draft.
Xerath no ban, though. Well, they can't do Xerath.
Are we just running it back?
Yeah.
That's
Right,
not-
we have some cats in the chat now. They're making their thoughts well known.
That's not gonna get locked in.
No, it's not.
It's Maokai Jace. No, they're gonna pick Vi. Oh, okay. Well,
What
we're
if they go
changing it up.
Vine Nautilus? Imagine that.
That would actually be pretty strong. Vi Ari, what we've been calling for Gen.G, not gonna be the case. See what Ophelia is gonna lock. Will it be down to play Azir again? Nope, gonna be Cassante first, which means the Azir might get banned. Tristana, gone. As the Cassante, once again, will get locked for Zest. Tough to ban here, as Gen.G could try to stop some of the follow-up champs to dive, like the Draven, I think would be a smart ban. They just don't want to deal with Rooster's Jax. It's been banned every game.
Understandable. Rooster has really excelled in this season, as we have even seen here in this series. He's been great. Definitely been a big force and part of the reason why Helma Life Esports have been able to win. So no Jax. Will they ban Renekton? Because that's what Rooster played last time.
Yeah, it went pretty well. They will. Adaptation. Love to see it.
Whoa.
And final ban here. Just ban the Azir, honestly. You don't have to play Azir in this comp as Gen.G, but it's the easiest, safest. Okay, just taking away Nocturne. So it's going to be Azir.
Jiru.
Seems pretty obvious.
Why don't they play a 2v2v2v2 as the last game? Because they know that Riot's going to take it away from us eventually, so they don't even want to play it. Sad. Annie.
Swain. Actually, weirdly enough, I kind of like the Swain here. I think this is one of those times where Swain offers you longevity in team fights for your Zeri. Becomes a secondary front line into Ari Vi. I actually really like the Swain. I think it's pretty legit. Now, they didn't ban the Draven, so that seems like a pretty strong pick into the Zeri at least. A little bit
Tap
tougher.
him on the shoulder when he's hovering Jin. He might accidentally lock that in.
Yeah. Okay, Aphelios. Looked like Aphelios is where they were going with the Nocturne ban, but... Uh-oh.
I have faith in Rooster.
Uh,
Not for the... No, I'm sorry. I take it back. I
He's gonna
do
play
not
Fiora,
have
it's
faith
fine. He's going to play Fiora.
in Irelia.
Fiora or Rumble. Hopefully Fiora. Ooh, Malphite also good. Maokai also
Where
banned.
is Maokai?
No, he's not even banned. Where is Maokai? Yeah, what happened with that?
Who are these
Yeah,
champions?
wait, what?
Got to be kidding me with these top lane picks.
This is actually so funny how the end of this draft worked, where he's like, all right, well, I need Aphelios to match the scaling of the Zeri, and the Swain came through, and we need a little bit more engage, so let's go Malphite. We need a front line. And then Gen.G were like, oh, I see the Malphite. Let's pick Kindred because it's good in a Malphite because we just stand in the circle and nobody can die. But I feel like the finesse that's required for Gen.G's comp is pretty high. I do like the Swain. Ophelia known for playing Swain as well. She's a pretty good Swain player. Let's see if the jitters of those 0-2 loss starts in the series will dissipate here.
Is Maokai top lane forbidden?
No, it's not. It's actually allowed to be played, yeah.
It feels like it is because they don't.
We saw it from
it's
Zeus
fine.
once, I believe, in LCK.
Yeah. I think it's a fine pick, but Rooster not going to do it. He wants to say, yep, rock, and press R on Zeri. And maybe even the Kindred. The Kindred kind of an interesting pick because the ult itself can be good against the hard engage and the dive from the side of Helma Life Esports, but also gets kind of countered by Malphite itself. So if they just combo onto the Kindred and he never gets a chance to use R, then it's just useless. But if you can get the R off, it's amazing. So it's like very volatile.
But also, if you ult early to try to save yourself into like the Vi ultimate, then it wears off and everyone's standing in that circle, then the Malphite's like, all right, it's worn off now. You're all stacked up. So, first time chatter, putting in an emote.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a koi getting fed. It's a koi eating a big snack.
A koi?
Yeah, it looks like a koi fish eating a big snack. I don't know about this.
Paris Ogre? What? Is that a real thing? I guess maybe it is. Do you like Cocoa Puffs?
I did. When I was younger, I actually really liked Cocoa Puffs. Reese's Puffs and Cocoa Puffs. I wouldn't say I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I did enjoy them a decent amount.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They make some good cereal milk.
Reese's Puffs, though. It's Reese's for breakfast, Valdez.
Yeah, you shouldn't eat candy for breakfast, so I don't recommend eating either of those cereals if you're an adult.
But what about cookies for breakfast?
No, you shouldn't do that
With
either.
Cookie Crisp and
No, I don't
the
think so.
howling wolf that plays baseball for some reason sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know why he does that. It's kind of weird.
Can you explain the cinnamon taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Or why kids love Apple Jacks? I'm asking you, Valdez.
Because it's candy for breakfast. Don't do that. It's not healthy.
I'm still waiting for Captain Crunch to burst through the wall and interrupt this broadcast with his giant ship that he's got coming in.
I thought you were going to mention the Kool-Aid Man. Yes, Chronicler, American Youth is just marketing.
Pretty much.
You're watching
Until,
Nickelodeon, and you get all these commercials thrown at you.
Yeah.
You're eating candy for breakfast. That's why we are the way we are. It's not our fault.
No one stole his Lucky Charms.
Yeah. Subliminal messaging real. Yes, we're doing it right now. Aware.
Yeah. Wow, that was a pretty nice setup there for Roamer.
Tricks are for kids.
Yeah, tricks are for kids, not for Silly Rabbit.
Yeah, silly Chronicler.
I feel like we've gotten almost all of them. Like, I don't remember Fruity Pebbles' thing. You know, Frosted Flakes are great, you know.
Fruity Pebbles didn't really have a big marketing campaign.
Yeah, not really.
Fruit Loops did, obviously.
Remember Pops? Gotta have my Pops.
Got on my Pops. Those commercials
Pops was
were actually pretty good.
the skateboarding Pops guy, yeah.
It was pretty good. And Pops were kind of like borderline, where it was like, these are very sugary, but also I don't feel like I'm getting diabetes in real time by eating this. So, by the way, a good flip here to winner.
Yeah.
Who is going to get lucky on the
First mark. Yeah, first mark
on the
locked
first
down.
Koshik. I grew up eating oatmeal and bread with cheese.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Netherlands. It's okay, Chronicler.
That's the problem.
It's okay. We still like you. It's fine. Like, just because you didn't eat the normal, common breakfast cereals doesn't mean you can't be friends or an LCK caster.
Yeah, you don't need to know all the slogans. You also didn't have to eat those powdered donuts, or 3 of them for lunch every day.
Oh, you mean like the donut holes? Like, I don't know.
They're just like little donuts.
Munchkins, as they're often called.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Similar.
But it's like the variety brand, and only one of the flavors really tastes good. So you're always fighting with your siblings and everyone else who's
You
there.
just got the powdered donuts.
Well, that's the good way to do it, because those are fine. I mean, they're not amazing, but.
First time chatter says, I'm Mexican. Well,
That's cool.
I hear it's very nice there.
Yeah.
Nice little flash here from Rooster. He's not messing around. Spots the jungler winner. As Root is going to come in, and now we got a support in trouble as he is going to hop over to his friend Carfe, but yeah, friendship now done, so he was not able to save him.
Friendship over. Friendship canceled.
Now Ophelia is my best friend. It's going to go mid. That's what would happen in Korean solo queue,
It's actually legit what would happen in solo queue. Lost Boy come mid and actually start stealing Ophelia's last hits, but then and then like make it look like he's gonna go in, and then as soon as Ophelia commits, he just like presses an emote and like walks down mid into the turret. Okay, so with context here, we can forgive Lost Boy a little bit. Just completely whiffs the Q. I don't know if you really want to go in and check like that, but he wanted to get some information here.
Wanted to stop the back.
Yeah.
He went pretty aggressive for it.
Yeah, wants to go in, see if he's still in there, get the back stop and slow him down, and then gets punished.
Yeah, probably don't do that when Aphelios is holding Gravitum, which you should know. But yeah, it was a thin line, and he walked it, and unfortunately he fell off the tightrope this time. So, Laspa still recon, but the issue with it is that the Aphelios does get a kill. So, Life Esports once again off to a great start.
Yeah, and this Drake setup here without level 6 for winner doesn't feel great. Rooster, who does have level 6 by the way, is coming down. He says, if you guys really think you can hold that, you better do it quick.
Look at this rock.
He's coming. He's rolling down the mountain as a mountain.
They're between a rock and a hard place right now.
Yeah. I don't think, yeah, they successfully give the dragon without walking into the Malphite.
So Rooster, for like the last minute, all he did was run down the river, and now he's running back up the river.
Yeah.
That's all he does. Look at him go.
He doesn't have teleport, but he's gonna walk it back out as Zest will deny a wave. So, and grab a plate. So, I mean, small victories.
He's back.
This is the thing is, like, I don't really fault Gen.G for backing out there, but committing heavily and then backing out without even trying to set up for a contest is just a symptom of the draft and how little agency it has unless Hunter Life come to you, because they had that advantage with the top laner coming down. You still can't win it. If you have level 6, maybe you can, actually. If you have winner with his Lamb's Respite, maybe. But it just feels like, once again, I'm watching Gen.G just watch the objectives go. And that's not a winning strategy.
All right, bit of an all-out. Going to be answered by Rooster's
unstoppable force.
Escape. Oh, Carpe's dead. Yeah, there's the Q. Down he goes, just essentially soloed by the Aphelios. You do see that the Rel does get an assist. We'll have to wait and see how that one even started.
Lost Ball wasn't there.
Carpe has no sums now.
Yeah.
Ooh, it is looking rough, Wolf.
It looks like a total collapse at the moment.
Wolf, are you a respite or a respite?
I'm usually a respite.
Yeah, me too. I feel like that's the more American way.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the more American way, but I think it depends on the sentence I'm saying. I have a lot of words like that, where I'll say it differently based on the sentence.
We'll play here onto Ahri, who does have Spirit Rush. So, I mean, you're going to get some win in the lane, right? The push comes in, the charm is going to miss, as does the root from the Swain. But yeah, you're never killing the Ahri in this case, but you will get the push in mid as Duro now here.
Yeah, never killing the Swain in this case either, actually, as it turns out. As Carpe's alone, gets X flashed on, caught by stun, has to cleanse, flashes,
and then he steps back in.
Steps back to Q. That's a bit of a yikes, unfortunately.
Really clean play from Lure.
Yeah.
Like, extremely clean. So Carfe was just not expecting him to be that good.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, a bit of a whoopsie, but the lead is quite significant now for the Aphelios. 2 kills picked up, Cole not even completed, so once that's done, he's going to be hitting even harder. And the Aphelios is kind of supposed to be a pick in this draft that gives you longevity in team fights, because you had the Vi, Ahri dive setup, but now you have a late game as well. But it should have taken a lot longer than it's going to take. Speaking of,
Once again, those pesky purple guns as he is caught in mid-dash, and down he goes. Does get a chance to dash afterwards just for fun, but he's super dead. And this is just a straight-up 2v2 diff in the bottom lane. This isn't what the first couple of games have looked like, but seems like game number 3 might be shaped by the huge diff we have down here just in the laning phase.
Chronicler, you still in the chat? Should probably come to work. Hate to say it.
Although I think they do start at the
Yeah, probably.
6 p.m. time, so
Probably. As, yeah, this one is a bit of a roughie. Like, I think that it's not impossible considering all of the money is on the Aphelios, but it's impossible because all the money is on Aphelios. You know what I mean? Like, on one hand, it's like, oh, only one carry is super fed. I'm like, oh, but it's the one that is the biggest problem if it's super fed in this game, where it has no weaknesses. Now he's got red and white guns for this next Drake fight as well, and he's gonna back, and he finished his call. So first item's gonna come through. Gale Force is ready, and as long as a Malphite shows up, this one should be pretty simple.
Should be. It's still challengers. I mean, Whole Life Esports have really shown over the first 2 games in 11 minutes that they're the much better team, right? But let's see. You know, you got to keep it strong. You got to make sure that you don't say, okay, this game is over. Start to, you know, not take it as seriously, right? It's still playoffs. You never want to give Gen.G an opening. So let's see how they close it out.
Someone asked Final Fantasy 15 in the chat. I don't really know what that's referring to in this case, but can't surrender in pro games.
Yes.
So,
I mean, we're Final Fantasy enjoyers here, though.
yeah, especially me, but Valdez is also old school FF10 enjoyer.
So 12 minutes in, and Lure not only has 3 kills, but he also has 3 turret
Oh
plays.
man, this is just, yeah, it's starting to look disastrous. This Herald is placed like practically behind the turret. That's the only thing they've got going for them. They're going to try to clear this wave with Cassante. And Rooster, he didn't show up. So like I said, as long as he shows up, it's pretty easy. He didn't show. Now he's showing. He's coming.
Oh boy.
He's going to appear.
There he is, and getting ready for the R button. Ophelia trying to lead the charge, but again, they just burst him down as, okay, that's Ophelia very, very nicely saved by the Kindred, but will it matter? The answer is absolutely no, as they're just getting steamrolled by Lure, and the damage is just way too much for Gen.G to handle at this point in time. Carfe, he wants to stamp it, but unfortunately, he will be the one who gets stamped out, as eventually the Cassante is killable, and it's an ace for the side of Hanwha Life Esports.
Yeah, almost a clean ace as well. Only Guan dying here for Hanwha Life, and this is just a disaster for Gen.G. And even though, as we talked about, the Lamb's Respite is going to go down here during the Malphite ultimate and everybody gets protected, look at what happens next. As Duro's like, oh, they're all standing on that circle. You know what I do? You know what I do? Oh, I'm pulling him in! And Carpe is stunned here at the end, has to instantly cleanse, does no damage in this fight. And that is just a very simple, easy 1-2 punch here for Hanwha Life, and all the money's going to Lure. And then Roamer finds this final kill here. So it should be the Drake going over. We'll see once we get into live if they actually did secure it. Not quite. It's sometimes hard to instantly secure Drake after a team fight because your health bars are low. The respawn time is at 13 minutes, still pretty short. So they won't actually take it immediately, but they should still be able to secure it on the second group.
As if
Gen.G lose another fight, it's gonna be rough.
Gen.G, you're like, so we can take the Drake now, right, guys? Oh god, no, you can't fight here. You don't even have your ult, okay? You don't have your Kindred ult, which kind of, again, as we mentioned in the draft, is, you know... Okay, well, they're not gonna do it. Gen.G are on the run here, as we do have Gravin once again going to really make it clear that Gen.G cannot enter this river.
Yeah, the gravity of the situation is...
Great John Mayer song. We got a...
It's a Hextech Soul, too. This is insult to injury, and then, like, injury to the insult that was injured.
Yeah, this is Dover. It's done over.
Yeah, it's Hellover.
Hellover?
HL over.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Hello.
over. Yeah.
Oh, you missed it.
It's okay. I think he's got enough money.
He's
Second Herald.
He's just being a generous Giga Chad, aka GG.
A 4-0 and 3 Aphelios is almost on 2 items. Like, as Second Herald is spawning, is not making me hopeful. He's like, I'm ready for red-white guns. Like, I'm ready to fight. I want to fight them. Then you're like, we're not gonna fight them. I'm not gonna go anywhere near that. You can have both objectives. We're okay with that. As Winner's gonna have his ult back up, but there's nothing to fight for anymore. They missed their window. That's going to be a Herald to charge here into mid. Duro over the wall.
Oh, no. Oh, please no.
Here we go. Aww.
Seems like they don't want to force it that hard. I feel like it probably would have worked, but no reason to go crazy. Just keep it solid, keep it simple, consistent, and that's what you got to do. That's what I was calling for from the side of Hama Life. Not gonna lie, 1 AM LCK CL hits different. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
This is the way.
It is the way. Just make sure you don't have any chefs looking over your shoulder while you're watching challengers. Somebody said my chef just came and I need to look like I'm working. I'm like, I don't really know what that means.
Don't let the chef know.
The chef needs to know that you're working. He has like a really strange relationship with his chef, where his chef cooks better because he thinks that he's working really hard, but he's just watching challengers, so he has to make it look like he's working, so he had to turn it off.
Yeah.
And I can talk about him now because he's not here, because his chef showed up and he had to turn off the stream to appear that he was working.
It's also not appropriate to call your husband the chef. He does a lot of other things, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. What do you say about this?
He's a great cook.
Did you see the Magi's that Romer built?
Yeah.
He's
It's a
stacking
good
it.
call. It's actually a really good call because they're really far ahead. He has a lot of extra money and he can take the risk. Like, he doesn't necessarily have to. He could have just gone into more defensive items so that he never dies. But this also works where, like, if you win one team fight, you're also just going to be... It's going to be unwinnable for Gen.G at that point. So
Yeah.
I think it's fine. It's another way to go.
Yeah, because it's an Ahri that went for a utility start, but this is the most cost-efficient way to get attack stats, and you're ahead of where you're supposed to be in this game anyways, so it should be just, as you say, totally fine. Gonna chunk down this turret, actually. First brick is available here. It will need the next wave before he can take it. It's gonna have Guwan's help here, and they should be able to secure that as the defense in mid continues. Hanwha's mid turret is very low, but if you don't have waves to push into it, it doesn't matter, and there it is. Very late in the game, honestly, at almost 18 minutes, considering how aggressively Hanwha's won all these team fights, but not enough control over the waves to actually threaten until now. 4,000 gold lead is itself not insurmountable, but it's where the money is on the carries. This is the biggest problem. If Malphite had like 5 kills, you'd be like, well, it's definitely still winnable for Gen.G, because yeah, he's really tanky, but there are ways to get around this. Aphelios and Ahri, not so sure about that. Them getting around it.
Do you think KT should sub in their entire LCK roster for Challenger playoffs?
I don't think that is allowed, but it would be
Sure
fun.
about that?
I mean, there was a rule that was specifically described to us when we were looking at Kellen getting subbed in, where like you have to have played a certain amount, or if you've played a certain amount of games in the round prior, you can't.
Yeah, also if you play in one, you can't play in the other.
Yes.
So,
Playoffs.
yeah, playoffs. So you don't want to put your LCK roster in and then they can't play in LCK. That would just be a disaster.
It's like KT's academy team, or Challengers team rather, actually just wins LCK. We're like, what?
What does it mean? Challengers actually is the strongest. Yeah. Actually is the strongest league in the world. It is where Damwon came from, and then they went on to win 2020 Worlds, right?
Yeah, that was a different time.
We're going to have a bunch of Griffin members in Worlds, by the way.
Yeah, we are.
With
LNG.
knowing.
Yeah.
Kanavi's going to be there, the sub.
Gen.G, Hanwha potentially to go. As this is looking a little bit scary here for Gen.G. You gotta watch out for that big rock. He's level 13. He is ready to ult.
Honestly, I'm ready for him to ult as well.
Yeah. Uh-oh, go on flank. Carfe, there's nowhere safe. And if you're safe, you can't do damage. Everfrost misses.
Yeah. The Everfrost dodge. Will we see the R button press as Winner is getting poked out pretty significantly down? Oh boy. Well,
Aphelios!
sorry. Just doing insane damage as now they have to use the Lamb's
Wait
Respite.
for Rooster, wait for Rooster.
Oh god, oh no, cover your eyes. This is not gonna be pretty. They do pull Roamer over the wall. As now, you know, not a lot of guys in that back line, but it's still enough guys. As the Ahri Vine turns out still pretty good in these team fights. And yeah, it's just going to be 2-3 kills actually to the side of Palm Life Esports. And the Dragon, as Gen.G are pretty desperate at this point.
This, I think, is the most one-sided Challengers playoff series I've ever seen. So we've had a lot of back and forths. We've had 2-0 starts into reverse sweeps, 5 gamers. We've seen one-to-ones, right? We've seen a lot of that in Challengers. It's very rarely a clean sweep, but the fashion of which Hanwha Life is crushing them in this game and how the 2v2 went is he has to ult here or he will die to the explosion. And so once this is down, guess what? Cassante gets ulted. He was so close to actually hitting both Cassante and the Kindred there as Baron is taken in live. And then Roamer, yeah, he's kidnapped over the wall, but he has ult. He's going to turn it into a great situation for him. So 12 stacks to Magi's now. Baron buffs up. They won the team fight. They got Soul Point for Hextech Soul. I don't know if this game could be more over, unfortunately, for
Cassante's got a
fans.
lead. The Zest Strike. The difference maker on the Rift.
There's a difference between a stripe and like a pixel. Unfortunately.
True. Speaking
like
of pixels,
the Rascal stripe is kind of like, oh yeah, everyone's behind except he's 2,000 ahead. This is like
I'll have you know
180.
that Winner did attack the Malphite twice before dying in that last fight.
Okay.
I'll have you know. Aphelios dead because this is Aphelios. Aphelios?
Aphelios?
Aphelio? Yeah, you know, he's dead. Either way. And Hanwha Life Esports, it seems like they are listening to chat. They're like, you know what? These guys have experienced enough pain. Let's just end the game. They're like, okay, it's been enough.
It seems to have been enough.
That's the only analysis there is. So, like,
honestly, it's a tragedy. Like, Gen.G really underperforming tonight, and they were the underdogs coming into this series, but they got outclassed, and then in this third game, it's not even close. Bye-bye. That can't be happening.
Well, that's the end of him, the end of Winner as well. Who
this might just be, like, legit
his
the end.
Lamb's Respite was like 2 seconds away.
Yeah.
I just saw it come off cooldown after he died.
I mean, I legit think
insane.
they end this game at 22 minutes right now.
Looks like it. As long as Lure doesn't die.
I need a wave.
And they have the wave. Well, guys, looks like that's about it. They're going to go in. They're going to press their buttons onto the enemies, and they will die. Hanwha Life Esports looking like a force to be reckoned with here in the Challenger League playoffs as they absolutely decimate and steamboat the hell out of Gen.G Global Academy here in this one. As Lure, a little bit of a generous gift there at the end, but it does not matter. Still a 3-0 to the side of Hanwha Life Esports.
Very clean 3-0. Not much to see here. Game 1, arguably the closest of the 3, but even that one, not so much. Game 2, outclassed by the Xerath. And then in the final game, the Aphelios lead in lane. And look at the coaching staff coming out here. I mean, happy, but also just kind of chuckling, almost as if they expected this to be this one-sided from the get-go. And I think that's a reasonable expectation, but there's not even any celebration here. It's just like, all right, move on. Next round, next week. That's the goal. Get this one over with. Even Key now out on the stage. But yeah, 20,000 damage for this Aphelios, more than triple his counterpart.
Coaching staff?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
He joined, I want to say, late last year, like right after the summer playoffs. Either that or maybe before summer season. He was joining when I went and visited their headquarters at the time. A former Hanwha player himself. I guess you could say like Rock's Hanwha era when the transition was happening.
Speaking of Rocks.
Yeah.
I think the Kindred decision was not a great one. I mean, Winner, he didn't have a great series but I also do think that he was kind of putting the whole playing the Kindred in this case. Like, maybe it's okay if you're ahead, but you're only hitting Malphite for the majority of the time. And he was never given any time to scale. The bot lane just got so decimated early on. He didn't have any lanes to play around except like that one time he tried to gank mid, and it's like, well, it's already the Spirit Rush. So I don't even blame him. I just feel like it's like a team diff at this point.
The bot problem got snowballed into the Ahri getting ahead, and then when they were both ahead, I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Like, nobody could do that. Nobody could do this. You could have paused the game at like maybe 15, 16 minutes and called KT Rolster or Gen.G or the first all-pro team of LCK and had them selling computers they can't win this game. Like, there's just no way. No way. Hanwha looking pretty good though, and I think we had a few doubts because they were struggling a little bit at the end of the season, but that was with like Loki and stuff. Lewis gonna pick up POG.
Mostly just not even for the numbers, just for the way the lane wins.
Yeah.
It was all about, okay, well, we dunked on the bottom lane, so we win.
Yep. He played it really clean and pretty easy vote for me.
Yep, same.
Yeah, I think this kind of allays some of our fears of, oh, is Hanwha falling apart at the end of the season? Like, DRX looking a little bit stronger. Nongshim also, a lot of people saying like, okay, maybe Nongshim could be in the finals, but Hanwha showcasing that at least against a weaker opponent here, the fundamentals are still just way better. So I'm happy to see decisive plays from them, and Gen.G, they just looked a little bit absent from this series. I mean, they showed up, I saw them on stage, and they were locked into the rift every time, but they weren't making decisive calls. They weren't being aggressive enough like they needed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you have it, 3-0 for Hanwha Life Esports, and we're going to have an interview, but you guys will have us instead. And after that, make sure you stay tuned because we do have a second series tonight. It is going to be in about an hour and a half, so you do have to wait quite a long time. I do believe we will have to wait until the 6 p.m. mark just because that is the way of the world. But either way, that'll be Atlas and Chronicler that will be bringing you that cast. And that series should be a bit closer and have some more League of Legends.
All right, I want to ask you a question. So we know the bracket is
Yes.
D plus is going to pick Hanwha or either DRX or KT Rolster. And obviously, I think we're both leaning towards DRX taking that series, but we could see an upset. But of these three teams, who do you pick as D plus?
Well, I'd pick KT Rolster, even after yesterday, if I had the chance.
Would you also pick DRX if they win?
No, I'd pick Hanwha Life Esports, I think.
And do you think D plus beats all three of these teams? Like, is that your expectation? Because I actually
They might
think
lose to DRX.
I actually think right now I would predict Hanwha or DRX to beat D plus. If KT upsets, like, I don't think that's not a line I'm gonna draw, but like I actually think that these teams have leveled up enough, and D plus looked a little bit shaky at the end of the season. I'd actually favor Hanwha at their best, which they look to be today, or DRX at their best over D plus. Like, I think we could see a quote-unquote upset there because it's the first seed, but current form, man, of these teams in the first round looking good.
Don't ask Team Snowball about these percentages.
Oh, I will definitely not ask Team Snowball about this.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think there's a world in which Hanwha Life Esports could beat DK. Absolutely. I might still vote for DK, like in a 3-2. I don't think that Hanwha Life Esports was challenged at all in this series, so, like, I don't think this is indicative of them, like, oh, we're just going to come in and stomp everyone. And especially DK should be a better opponent. So, I think it'll be a lot closer than this, obviously. Is there a world in which Wolf can do a kickflip?
No.
Just asking the important questions
mean, like,
before we sign off.
I think I have done a kickflip before when I was younger. There's just no way, I don't think, that I could do it now.
What if we gave you about 6 months to practice?
Yeah, I could definitely do it.
Oh. Well, then there is a world in which Wolf can do a kickflip.
But, like, I wouldn't do it.
Wolf most extreme caster. XQC did it. You can do it.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I just think it would take a long time for me to get ready to do it, but I'm not going to do it, by the way, chat. Like, you can't make me do it. But
We can't make him do it, but what if I secretly film you practicing it?
that would be really weird.
But then we would have seen you maybe do it.
If, like, somebody paid me a lot of money, I would do it.
2.3 months?
No.
Is that enough time? How much time do you think?
Start listing figures of money, like, that if I do it, you'll give me.
2.3 million.
2.3 million? Yeah, I'd do it for 2.3 million.
2.3 million?
Yeah.
How about $2,300?
Honestly, no. 2.3 months, $1,000 in McDonald's gift cards. No. 10 channel points. Nope.
10 channel points. It's a great offer. I mean, especially when we don't have channel points. To have any would be infinitely better than everybody else.
Wait,
So
we don't have channel points at all?
Yeah.
I thought we had
No
channel points, but no...
No, we don't have channel points.
Oh, I thought we just had them, but, like, you couldn't vote on anything.
Nope.
That's weird.
How hard do you think a kickflip
you're right.
is?
Hard.
It's pretty difficult, yeah. It's okay, we get them next year, surely. Just ask LCK CL Global 2024. He's in the chat. He's already ready. He's preparing for next year, so... Yeah. No Gamba, no channel point. Yeah. No 7TV. Maybe next year.
No X is a lot.
Yeah.
Message.
We need subs.
Maybe next year.
Imagine monetizing your stream.
Nah. Valdez, can you do a kickflip?
If you gave me 2 months, I probably could.
2 months.
Yeah. Maybe even 1 month. It depends really on how much you're practicing every day. You know? Like, if I did it every single day for a half hour, I could get it in a month. I have confidence to do that. Can your cat do a kickflip? I think cats can fly to the moon. So, yeah. They are very talented.
I don't think a cat can do a kickflip.
What if they were
because
using
they don't
a
have
cat
enough force to flip
board?
the board. Like,
What if they had a cat skateboard?
is a cat skateboard just a skateboard that's scaled for the cat's size?
Yeah.
The problem is the body shape of, like, the kickboards or not kickboards, skateboards are designed for a 2-foot, like, biped creature that stands upright like a primate.
Creature?
Yeah, mammal, whatever, animal. Okay,
I think Wolf just called me a creature.
you are a creature. But cats have 4 feet, and they're also, the center of gravity is, like, in the belly. So even if you made a cat-sized skateboard, the cat would actually struggle to stand on it because, like, if you just scaled it, like, the size of a cat versus the scale of a human, a board, that would be, like, smaller than the width of, like, or it could be, like, the size of, like, one paw. So you could put 4
Gen.G
paws.
players is crying.
Well,
Indo is part of that really spicy production we've had recently where we put the camera on the crying fans.
yeah, I mean, I'm down for that, but,
I mean, they did just get absolutely giga-bodied in this series. So, oh, they're doing an interview with Gen.G. Oh.
I think that I've always been about doing losers interviews, like, pretty much most of my career. And I think in playoffs it makes a lot of sense to have a farewell interview. I don't feel like it makes sense to have a interview for teams that finish regular season who are going to playoffs. Like, this is kind of how my opinion's shaped over the end of this LCK season. Like, for example, D+ in their final loss, they lost, and then they're like, please come on stage and we're going to do one final interview. I'm like, well, it's not really a final interview, and they just lost, and it's a bit awkward to ask them about their whole season and, like, how they look back on it when their season is not over and they just lost. It's a little bit odd.
So we have a lot of questions. Is Lore returning tomorrow for playoffs?
Yes.
When is the next POG stage? Should come out on Tuesday? Tomorrow?
By the way, did All Pro come out?
Are there skate parks in Korea? Yes, there are.
There are. I accidentally fat fingered a Twitch
All
stream.
Pro should be out by now.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it. So did something happen?
Do you know if the Asia Games will have an English broadcast? I do not know.
I would assume so.
Realistically, T1 going to Worlds, yay or nay? I'd say there's a pretty decent chance because they got second in spring. So as long as they get a high amount of points here in summer, they have a chance to just go in on points. And they have a lot of time now to get their stuff together for Worlds qualifiers as well. And we have 2 teams that go from Worlds qualifiers this time. So even if Beryl does end up going in the 4th seed, maybe T1 are the 3rd seed, and DK kind of, I don't know, don't get their stuff
I'm trying to
together.
get confirmation about LCK All Pro because it should be out and it's
Should be.
not. So I'm like,
What did we get
is
from
it out
Subway
and I
today?
missed
Same
it?
stuff we get every time.
Yeah.
The same subs.
They released the rosters for playoffs, which I'm checking to see if there are any strange changes.
Any Kellen enjoyers? Guess not.
I mean, no, like just like the eligible players, so not like we don't know who's playing.
Thoughts on Lucid as the next big jungler? Yes, he already is. Just depends on what team he joins, basically. Hope Viper makes all 1st or 2nd.
Is actually Lucid the next big jungler, or is Hambach the next big jungler?
Hambach also, yeah. Hambach, I feel like he would be good actually in like the LEC. You know what I mean? I think he's that type of jungler. Like he could go to the LEC, be the next Malrong,
Yeah, he doesn't really need people's help.
the next Peach.
Yeah, he finds the pressure point. I think he's a player who's really valuable for his communication, but I don't think his communication is necessary for his skill and his play style.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's kind of meta dependent a little bit, but yes, I think the Fury is going to be playable at Worlds.
Who's going to Worlds? KT and Gen.G. I'd say probably T1 and Hanma Life.
That's what it looks like right now, but we don't know for sure what the form of T1 is going to look like when we get there.
Or DK.
Well, we kind of know.
Or DRX. Aware.
I think we do kind of know D+'s form at the moment, at least. As you guys might be surprised by some of our predictions for how playoffs are going to go for LCK.
Make sure to watch the Pog State. We did do a lot of talking, a lot of jibber-jabbering about playoffs in that episode because it was mostly about that and about All-Pro. And also about our predictions from the beginning of the split.
Yeah. You check it out. I don't think DRX is going to Worlds, guys. I don't see it.
What about the blessing of Beryl? The Beryl playoffs buff?
No, I don't see it.
Okay.
I would, at this point, be almost confident enough to tell you guys, I don't think DRX will win a single game for the rest of the year. With the matches they have remaining. But I'd love to see it, but I'm going to tell you guys, I don't think so. Can D+ go to Worlds? Maybe. Wolf Spaghetti.
LCK 8th versus LEC 1st for Worlds would be fair, honestly.
What?
I think G2's pretty good. I don't know. I don't think that, like, Live Sandbox could beat G2. I wouldn't say that.
No, I wouldn't say so either.
I would say that, like, DK would beat them. DRX, maybe?
Yeah, I think you guys
Close.
overestimate the gap between Korea and the rest of the Western regions.
Also underestimate the gap between our first 2 teams and our next 3 teams and then our next team. So,
yeah.
Remember when Dagda said there's a chance that DRX don't make it out of groups at Worlds? I mean, a lot of people were saying that DRX wouldn't.
Yeah, like,
even
remember
make
when
Worlds.
literally everyone said DRX was not going to go to Worlds, and we didn't even discuss DRX's possibilities in the Worlds qualifier because it just seemed so obvious they weren't going to go, except they had stronger mental than everybody else and, like, literally won Worlds because of it.
Yeah.
And also, Zek is having a good patch and a strong champion pool for his play style.
The universe came together to make it a thing. Nobody believed except DRX themselves, who maybe didn't even believe it for a while themselves.
I think the thing is, I think they never for a second really believed it. That's why they won.
Yeah. They're like, let's just keep playing. Like, I don't know. No pressure. We already made it so far. Just keep playing well. Everybody else is like, oh, God, if I don't win this series. DRX are like, we're doing well. We're doing well.
Yeah.
Also, DRX just won at Champions Valorant. You
Yeah,
know?
that was a pretty big upset
It's a big one.
against Loud.
Against LLL.
Yeah. Ooh. Bro is not going to the Worlds qualifier. Burgot. There we go. Always coming back. There's no Smash at EVO anymore, so I enjoy it casually, but Smash was always my EVO game.
DRXDD.
DRXDD.
They were slumping a bit, but seems like they're in form at exactly the right time.
Project L looks pretty fun, but I'll have to wait until it comes out for me to really have strong opinions, but it looks cool.
I think they really need to, if they wanted to have any kind of wide, like, what do you call it?
Appeal?
Yeah. Like general casual appeal, they need to make it very easy to get into. Because even for myself, like I've played fighting games before, and I know how difficult they are to actually be even a little bit good. So I'm like, I don't want to touch that. It's too difficult. But if they make it like less crazy, but also have a high ceiling, I think that's going to be really important for them.
Yeah, no, I think they have some plans in mind for that. Like Street Fighter 6 had that. Somebody asked me if I know Ludwig. Of course I know Ludwig. I mean, not personally, but kind of hard not to know him in this space. As
The space?
welcome back to the space. No,
The space. I'm here with Hooney and Ox.
accessible, yeah.
Yes.
That was the word he was looking for, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I think Ludwig more known for not Smash than Smash. Are KT Challengers the favorite suddenly? Nope. Actually not.
How can you guys breathe in space? Well, you can't see it, but we have technology. We're actually hooked up to computers beneath the seats, and that's where we get our oxygen from.
How can I move my hand through the playoffs logo?
How can we swim
this
in front?
Ah!
It's okay, we got it back.
I like how we do this like once every other week. We're like, yeah, we'll do the thing. Like we don't do it every week, but like once every other week.
Will there be the CL World like last year?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Float right now to prove it. We're floating right now. We're not sitting on anything. How do you think we're just here? You don't see any chairs, right? There's no chairs. Yeah. Look, Wolf's floating. How did you get your casting license? Well, I went to the same university where Wolf got his Zeri certificate license. I did about 3 years. I majored in yelling, so that's why I'm a play-by-play. Yeah. Takes a while, but I think it's worth it. Paid off for our careers, yeah.
I don't know what Val is talking about, but
I got a bachelor
that
in
guy
yelling.
dropped out of caster school to become a chef, so then he could go to the other guy's house and make sure he was working.
Yeah.
He yelled at a guy earlier. Yeah, he was like, not watching. He doesn't seem like you're doing any work. I'm the chef and I'm in charge. There you go.
How much do you guys play League? I played a lot. I've been playing a lot of Lilia. I also stream. Wolf's going to stream after the season is over, right, Wolf?
Probably, yeah.
I'm going to get the consistent Wolf stream.
JRPG streams. My chair has just gotten really loud recently.
Yeah, but they can't hear it.
I know.
We did the test last week. It's really loud for us, but you guys probably can't hear it. Just Lilia. I think I'm switching to... oh, you can hear it? Oh, no. They heard it!
Yeah, you guys can follow us on Twitch. I'm Wolf_Schroeder.
I thought you were Proxy Wolf.
No,
Oh,
someone
on
took
Twitch
that.
it's different.
Yeah, somebody took that from me and followed a bunch of weird stuff. Like I'm like, that's not me. I didn't follow those channels.
Any hot tub enjoyers?
It wasn't hot tubs. It was just really other bizarre stuff.
Oh, well, guys. apparently it is time to stop comment.
Wow.
So thank you for watching this first series. Again, stay tuned because in about an hour we do have a second series on the way. That one will be cast by Atlas and Chronicler. So make sure to enjoy it. And now we must stop comment.